Live from beautiful downtown Bastrop, it's time for The Stage Select, starring Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
What could this possibly be? Seems a lot like a podcast. Wonder what specifically. Talking about video games. With your hosts, you're in good hands. Not more of the same. Now we'll jump right in. So expect the unexpected and more. Now we'll get grooving. Never know who's gonna walk through the door. There just might be some tragedy. It's just having fun with a special guest. Time for Stage Select.
With special guest, Eric Peacock. And here are your hosts, Julian Titus and Justin Ham.
Welcome, one and all, to the Stage Select. I'm Julian Titus.
And I'm Justin Ham. Hi. We're here and we're doing a thing. Normally I have a big opening thing to do, but I don't really have that. But Eric Peacock's here, and I would like to ask him just one question before, other questions. I have a lot of questions for you, Eric, but that we'll have to wait on that. Do you remember, how do you think, okay, all right, this is a tough question to ask. So George Thorogood in the Bad to the Bone music video, he beats a guy in pool. It's a large black man. He beats him in pool, and then and that's really the whole video. He just shows up to play this guy in pool, and then he also plays the song at the concert, and the white women go crazy, and I just want to know if I'm the only one that ever seen it.
No, I remember the video as you were saying.
Yeah.
I was born in 1980. That video was like heavy rotation on MTV. Like I can picture. I know I could, again, it's been years since I've seen it, but I even feel like I can remember like exactly what he's wearing. I don't remember that.
Yeah.
I forgot it was a big black man that he played in pool. I just remember him.
It's like the only black guy in the video. That's it. Like he's the one guy. And then everybody
that
else
was the style at the time.
Yeah, apparently so. Yeah, and his outfit, he has a snake skin like blazer on. Yep. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a fucking vibe.
I have like a soft spot for Thoroughgood though. Like I especially have a soft spot for One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer because it reminds me of
That's the one.
Fair
high school graduation. My friend's uncle, who was like the drunkest I've ever seen anyone in my life, got up and karaoke'd that song and like tore the whole fucking place down. Everybody's having such a good time. He could barely stand up. So like, I'll always have like a soft spot for that song because I think of
that makes sense.
Keith's uncle doing that.
That makes sense. Makes sense.
But yeah, no, I remember that video very well. I remember all the 80s videos very well.
I believe you. I believe you. Well,
One Bourbon, One Scotch, and One Beer was because, me famously like being pretty sheltered with my music and stuff like that. I remember actually pretty distinctly, I heard that just randomly on the radio on my way home one day. And I was on my way home. I was on my way to visit my mom when she was living like in the Springs before she retired. And I was like, what is this? Because I love this. And I got home and I looked it up and then I immediately bought it because I was like, and so it was like in playlist rotation for a good chunk of time after that. Because I was just like, I was like, oh, this is the Bad to the Bone guy.
it's the Bad to the Bone guy. Yeah.
It's, and the thing about One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer, not like as a song, but one of my friends and I have talked about, there's like a perfect level of drunk that like when you're drinking that like, this is like the best stopping point. Most people do not stop there. For us, we've always talked about how like a 40 ounce is like that 140 ounce is like, especially like a real 40, not like Bud Light, but like King Cobra or something. Mm-hmm. And I feel like One Bourbon, One Scotch, One Beer falls right into that comfort zone too. I feel like that's like a perfect, like that is a good night where you're not going to feel like shit the next day. You're going to feel pretty good for the night. I never thought about that way, but like, that's like that's a perfect recipe, I think, for like a fun night where you're not going to like be mad at yourself the next day.
As long as you drink it alone and and all, with nobody else.
A snakeskin jacket. You got to have that on, snakeskin.
Yeah, you got to have that. You got to drink it alone. What other Thoroughgood songs? I don't know. He had a lot of.
You also have to
go ahead.
Tell the bartender, hey, come on down here before you order.
I like how most of his songs are just him talking with like barely anything happening in the music behind it. It's just like it's something. I don't consider myself a big Thoroughgood guy, but there's a level of comedy that I appreciate with him for some reason. And that's my thoughts on George Thorogood.
It's funny too because I've talked about how much I hate on the show plenty of times, how much I loathe white guy blues. Like I fucking hate, especially 80s white guy blues, like Clapton's 80s stuff. And it's like one of the or something Tough Enough by the Fabulous Thunderbirds, like the worst shit in the world.
I'm a big Stevie Ray Vaughan hater. I'm not a big fan of that guy. I just like it just musically. I'm just like, it's just so fucking boring. I don't know what it is.
Well, the production, that like 80s, even black blues musicians in the 80s were sort of rudderless. Like that production did not work well with the like the bluesy production. But like it's even worse when you got somebody who's like but for some reason, Thoroughgood works for me. I think because he was like doing like a pop, like he was, I don't know, like pop's the wrong word, but like it was like a populist sort of white guy blues,
Absolutely. I can agree with you on that for sure. Well,
can I call this episode the White Guy Blues? That's probably not a good episode.
I mean, you can do it. I don't care. Who's going to stop you? Nobody can stop you, Julian.
No one can stop Mr. Titus.
That's right.
The White Guy Blues is why Twitter is the way it is right now.
That's true. That's exactly it. Yeah.
Well, before we jump into things, I do have a few quick announcements to get through. One real quick, as you're listening to this, especially patrons, the latest episode of the Suffer Select has gone up for patrons where we played ukulele, which also means that the new poll is up for next month's Suffer Select. This month we have the choices between Desert Bus and 100% Orange Juice. Now, I will say that on the poll, I have Desert Bus VR as the game simply because I was looking around for how do we play Desert Bus, and I couldn't really find like an easy way to play it, but they did make Desert Bus VR, which you can play without a VR headset.
Okay, then I think we should be okay then.
Yeah, and it's free to play on Steam.
Great,
and
perfect.
It's the same thing. It's just the graphics are prettied up a little bit.
That's fine.
A little bit.
Who cares? It's fine.
But it's still the same 8-hour drive, from Arizona to Vegas or whatever.
Sometimes you got to do it,
Yeah. Also, I had a couple guest appearances that I'd like to shout out. First off, I was on A Gamer Looks at 40 again, but this was for one of Bill's Tales from the Bargain Bin episodes where we talked about Demon's Crest, one of my favorite Super Nintendo games. So that was a lot of fun.
That's the Ghosts and Goblins-ish game, but you play as a little like gargoyle demon, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the third in the Gargoyles Quest series.
Great game.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Love it. Available on Nintendo Switch Online, which Bill enlightened me on. So it's actually, you can play it right now. Which
That's good.
I'm glad. I said it in the episode. I think the best we'll ever get with that is Capcom releases like a collection that's playable on modern systems, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
Like we can just get all three of those games in one spot and playable. I'm golden. I would prefer a sequel, but I really don't think that this is going to be one of those series that comes back.
Yeah.
And then I was also on a YouTube show with the Mad Monarch.
Okay.
It's called the Monarch's Tribunal. It's a monthly show that he does on his YouTube channel. The premise is kind of that he wants people to he wants to have like a debate between like differing opinions on things, which is not like my normal cup of tea with video game discourse. I think there's like plenty of that, just without even wanting it. It just seems to happen, and so I'm kind of over it. But it ended up being a really good discussion because what I ended up picking was Metroid Dread, because I'm one of the few people who hate that game, and it's like kind of universally loved. But I used it as a really good like pulpit to kind of proselytize my gospel of nuance in video game takes, and my whole thing about understanding that you cannot like a game and understand that it's still a good game, and vice versa, right? Sure. Where I think that a lot of like video game discourse ends up devolving into black and white opinions where I don't like this, therefore it's bad, which is just categorically not true. Yeah. But the links for both of those episodes will be in the show notes if you guys want to go check them out, and let them know that the Stage Select sent you. But Eric Peacock, welcome.
Glad to be back. Well, I guess technically not necessarily back, because last time it was Nerds Without Pants, but like back talking to you. This is fun.
We're happy to have you back, Eric.
Good. You're the only ones. Hey, I do. Sorry, one thing before I forget: the Demon's Crest revival. I will say I'm at the point where now this isn't a revival per se, but I'll never say never on anything because Sinking City's getting a sequel, and I thought I was the only person in the world who loved that game. But like,
very true.
The discourse around that I remember was like it was broken, it was janky, and I loved it. I loved the goofiness. I loved the guys yelling, "He's gone completely mad!" If you'd like go do something stupid in the middle of town. I was very fun, and I cannot believe that it's getting sequel and the original's getting like a full over remaster for free if you own the game. Like that's crazy to me. I didn't think
that is pretty crazy.
That one I remember very distinctly because it came out and it had like middling reviews and people were like, "Oh, this is really janky," but it had like a charm to it. But I think it got like a lot of goodwill in the public because the developer got screwed over so royally by the publisher,
right?
And it was kind of like that. Yeah, it was in this weird limbo for a while, and they were finally able to like wrestle control of their game back into their hands, and I think that really like gave them a lot of momentum because like I remember when they said like, "Hey, the game is ours now, like please go out and buy it," and people were like, "Cool, like I've heard things about this," and it kind of got like a little bit of groundswell. So that was actually like one of those like rare like feel good stories in the games industry.
I missed that. Was Frogware the developer or the publisher then?
I don't recall who was who.
Hard to say.
My memory of it is that basically the publisher kind of got into a situation where they didn't end up paying the developer like I think royalties or something along those lines, and there was like I think it was the PC version of the game that basically I think it was the PC version that like the developer wasn't getting like any money out of and stuff like that, and it turned into a legal thing, and it was like this huge back and forth, and like I think it was delisted for a bit.
It's possible, yeah. So according to Steam, Frogwares is both the developer and the publisher. But but that means they were the developer because they're the ones who control it now. They got it back. So yeah. Okay, we solved that mystery.
Because I've always liked Frogware stuff. I like the Sherlock Holmes games quite a bit, so I wasn't aware, and I'm like, hopefully they're not dickheads. You know what I mean? Like,
no, I don't think so.
They got dicked around on this deal, but it ended up working out for them in the end. But yeah, so Eric, we're not gonna, we did have you on Nerds Without Pants, so we're not gonna do like the normal getting to know you thing that we normally would do. But we do have a lot of new listeners for the Stage Select who may not have heard you unless they went and checked out Soundtracker when. Well, actually, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Or now, actually, tell us and the listeners about Soundtracker and like kind of what's going on with it this season, and then we'll jump into some games.
You know what? Julian, I don't know if we talked about this, and if I did and I forgot, I'm sorry. I'm doing this with Jesse, who just did Saturday Night Fever, but like, I will send you the episode you did to put on your own Patreon for listeners, like if you want to do that.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the deal is this season I had to go Patreon only. I do not like that I had to go Patreon only, but I am a school teacher in a school that is like significantly short on staff, and it doesn't look like things are changing anytime soon because we're having some financial issues. And so I am doing 7 whole periods a day where most teachers have 6 because I'm in the science department, which is very short. And I have 180 kids when we're contractually not supposed to have more than 150. Like, it is a long, hard year. I didn't know if I was going to bring the show back. I really didn't, but I like doing it. And it was like, either I can, and like the patrons were the ones who kind of got the short end of the stick a lot of times when I would run out of time to do stuff. You know what I mean? And it became you know what? That's not fair to them, and I'm going to focus on them this season. So the show is Patreon only. However, there are still like 105 free episodes, 110 free episodes, I forget, that you can check out. Julian was on doing Varsity Blues this season. Just, I gotta have you on at some point. We talked about this before.
I'm down.
I know I gotta do that at some point here.
Hell yeah.
Because I'm always looking for guests. I just actually with Robert last night picked up 2 guests that I could. So anybody that I could, get on and fill some space and not worry so much about like how am I going to do this month is so good for me. But so yeah, it's Patreon only. But again, you can find all kinds of free episodes leading up to this particular season. And I had a truncated season last year and the year before, and it was just one of those things where it was like, I don't want to give up doing the show because there's so many movies I've not gotten to. Right. And I feel a little freer now this year doing it, because whereas on the main feed, I had to be like, if this is a movie that is not very well known, like my audience is going to check out. I wish I had like a blank check sort of audience that would like be interactive and play along.
Right.
I didn't have that. So if it were like some oddball movie that no one's seen, it would show every week. But with the Patreon, they're in it for that. You know what I mean? So
right.
Like, I don't have to worry about that shit. I don't have to worry about who's listening, who's not. Like, I've got my patrons and they're happy with it. And I'm doing the Warriors this week. I'm excited about that.
Ooh, that's cool. All right.
So yeah, that's the story with Patreon, or that's the story with Soundtracker. Like I said, I don't love it. And I'm hoping that by next year that I'm not as swamped and I can go back to doing like a regular schedule like I was before. You know what I mean? But
I get you.
It was either give up at this point, it was either give up the show or do this. And I stuck with this.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that you did, because Soundtracker.
Oh, I should explain what the show's about.
yeah. Actually, go ahead.
I didn't realize I'm like,
just go listen. They'll figure it out. It's fine.
I do movies with original motion picture soundtracks. Now, by that I mean I'm not doing. And even one thing with the Patreon, I guess I'm just not good at talking about musical scores so much. But like, I could even open it up into that this season. I didn't think about that. But like, I'm talking like Godzilla, Batman Returns, or Batman Returns, Batman Forever. Movies that have soundtracks that like have almost nothing to do with the film itself. But like had a collection of mostly good artists doing some great songs. And so we talk about the movie, talk about the soundtrack, and it's a lot of fun. So if you are somebody who enjoys either music or movies, there's something for you in there. And you can find it anywhere you listen to podcasts up to this current season. And then from there, and I have like 60 episodes or something on Patreon at this point now, maybe more than that. Right. I don't even know. I lost count of that at some point, but I've got plenty of Patreon episodes as well. So check it out.
Hell yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. And I'll have the link to like the main show feed in the link in the show notes. But then also, if you go to our Patreon page, we have a recommendations tab, and Soundtracker is in our recommendations for the actual Patreon page. I got to say real quick, Eric, if you're open to movies that have a score, I am 1000% down for Dragonheart, which is a movie that I fucking almost wore that CD out.
I don't know the score. I saw that movie twice in theaters though. I like Dragonheart a lot. Yeah, it's a fun one.
It is. Fun fact is that the main theme to Dragonheart ended up becoming a pretty popular movie trailer theme. I remember like the trailer for the Brad Pitt Tibet movie. Had the Dragonheart theme for the trailer.
That's wild.
And I've heard it pop up a few other times since then. I gotta say that like I'm really glad that you're continuing with it, because Soundtracker is like a super informative, very well researched show that you're always going to learn like new things either about the movie or about the soundtrack, or it's always fascinating when you talk about what was going on both with like movies when it came out and also where the music charts were at the time. Like it's always super fascinating, but the show has also unfortunately had like a lot of setbacks, right? And I know just following you over the years that like there's been times where it's like think the show's done, oh man, and then like everybody's like no it can't be done, and you're like okay.
My dad got sick like the month after I started the show, and it was like I thought it would have been like a quick thing, but he's like still in a nursing home 3.5 years later, and it's just been so you toss that on top too. There was like Yeah, it just like I wish that I had more time for everything that I wanted to do with the show. You know what I mean? But like,
Absolutely.
and I still have time. I mean, it's like there's still I have a list of like 1,800 movies, and I think I've covered like 200 of those. So there's plenty, and if that's not even counting stuff with scores or anything made before the year 1980 or after the year 2010 is not on that list. So like, there's a shit ton of material still.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And also worth pointing out that you've amassed like a really good audience, and you've had like some big ass guests on your show, which is really cool. Like it's something that I'm very very envious of, because I will say I'm starting to. I said it when we started the stage select, but I have been reaching out to bigger people lately. People that you might not expect. There's a actually I'll just say it. If anybody is familiar with Stephanie Michelle, who used to be a geek YouTuber.
Oh yeah.
Who was like a super feminist like YouTuber who was like really disgusted with like all of the like sexual comments that she got, who somehow fell into the bimbofication rabbit hole and now does porn.
Huh.
Really?
Yeah, but like it's like an interesting transformation, but she's still like a big old geek. And
interesting.
So Justin, last year when I said that I was going, I wanted to go to that like weird like adults only anime convention.
Yeah.
One of the big reasons was because she was going to be there.
Interesting.
And like if you spent, I forget how much it was, if you got like a certain amount of her merch, like she would do these like extremely lewd photo ops with you.
Okay.
And she was dressed up as Chun-Li for one of the days, and I was like, "Oh, I should have gone. Should have gone."
That's funny. Yeah,
I was like, that would have made Justin uncomfortable in the way that makes me.
That would have, that wouldn't have been great. I'm just gonna say it. It wouldn't have been great for me.
But her DMs were open, so I was like, we'll see. Like, you never know.
Why not?
And I DM'd Dennis Dyack, former head of Too Human, because he, as I said a couple episodes ago, he followed me on Twitter, and I was like, all right, here we go. Like,
why not?
Yeah.
See what happens.
That's the worst part about Twitter too, is I was just talking about this yesterday with Robert. I had Simon Barrett on, the guy that wrote who wrote You're Next and The Guest and directed Seance. He's done a bunch of he does all this stuff with Adam Wingard, wrote the new Godzilla, Godzilla versus Kong. And he was going to come back on and do Bullet Train, and then Elon bought it, and he like just completely vanished from the site. And I don't know how to get a hold of him anymore.
Yeah,
that does. Yeah, because there's certain people that that's my only point of contact.
Yep,
is Twitter, but also they're getting rid of DMs apparently. So
what?
That was another reason why I like messaged Dennis when I did, because like he might not. I need to make sure that he can like have a chance to see this, because if they get rid of that, then like I don't even know what you do.
I love that they've just their goal has been to make it the least functional site that's ever existed.
It seems like they're just trying to run it into the ground. It's great. It's kind of crazy, but entertaining at the same time.
It's what we call the Doge approach.
Apparently, yeah. Cut a bunch of stuff that really probably doesn't need to be cut, and then
I'm sorry if anyone believes that Elon Musk. I got to watch what I'm saying here, because I believe, I don't actually care, but I believe, I don't remember if it was your show or someone else's, but I was looking at one of my friend's shows. I was looking at reviews on Apple, which it's just funny to me to see how people, and someone got really mad. One of the reviews was mad because I believe it was you, that you guys were too liberal or something.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yeah. Somehow I've avoided that.
You made it.
I don't know how. I've avoided that, because talked about like borderline communism on my show before. And
right. It's I think it's video games, really. I think it's the video game people that just there's a certain half of video game people that are just wild and just don't actually have fun playing video games. They just want to complain about everything, and those people will find you. And that's how you know you made it, though. Once you get some of those, that's how you know.
If you're one of those people, plug your ears real quick. But Elon Musk, anyone who thinks that guy is some sort of fucking genius at this point needs like to like be put in a small cell and never released or something. You know what I mean? Like that guy has proven time and time again that he is this fucking he don't know how to do anything. He's and like the ketamine or whatever it is that he's on is just making it worse now. Like he is he's really crashing out. Like he's that's the kids say that very differently now. Crashing out means getting mad, but like he is. I'm using it the old fashioned way. I don't know. I will be surprised if he's still around in like 2 years at the rate things are going with him. And like when you see videos of him and he can barely fucking stand and his eyes are all over the place and shit. Like whatever's going on there is not good.
Yeah, it seems wild.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons why that could happen, and all I'm going to say is Mario, and I'm just going to leave it at that.
There you go.
I'm just going to leave it at that.
He's all scared because of that now, as he should be.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting that all of a sudden, like his kid kept showing up at like big public events where he was like, you know, making sure to have the kid like front and center,
Human
constantly.
Child.
Yeah.
Sorry for.
Oh no, you're fine.
It's totally fine. Like don't even worry about it.
This is this podcast. It's all good.
This podcast is whatever we want it to be. Like,
okay,
you know, I think, you know, my thing with that is that like I had read an article recently because, you know, I work for state government now, but because I actually found out also that like parts of what I do are actually wrapped up in federal funding, which means that the Doge scythe could come anytime. But I was reading about like how, you know, obviously because they're wanting us back in the office and we're moving towards that. It's not happening as quickly as the governor wanted because it just couldn't move that quickly anyway. But eventually it is going to be that. But also seeing how like this article was talking about how Elon's work ethic is like going to like drastically change the way that government work is done. Because he works like, I forget what ridiculous number they said a week. And I was like, really? He works that long, you say?
God.
It's interesting that he claims to do that, but also claims to be one of the best player, like one of the top players in Path of Exile 2. Like, I don't see how those things, you know, can even out.
Apparently they do.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Did you see the video of people talking shit to him when he was playing that game on his private jet? It's so good.
Yeah.
Very satisfying.
It's pretty good.
Here's the thing about him. And I might have even said this last. I don't remember. I was talking about this recently. It might have been on. I might have been on Robert's thing last night. But like at the end of the day, the thing with him, and Bill Burr said it best. Bill was like basically just like he is a guy who will, no matter what he does, nothing's going to fill whatever weird void he has from like his teenage years and like being ignored. Hey, he's one of those people who like never got past the fact that like he was a teenager who maybe like wasn't good with women or whatever. And like, that is like, influenced every move he's made as an adult. And no matter what he does, no matter what success he finds, no matter how many kids he has, that void will always be there for him. And that's fucking weird. Mm-hmm. Like that is such a weird thing to do.
It's an interesting byproduct of it. Cause you know, we're all of a similar age. Eric and I are the exact same age. Mm-hmm. Justin, you're a little bit younger, but we grew up on similar media, right? And a lot of that media was the nerd getting bullied in high school and whatever. But then, but he was so smart and he applied himself. So then he became like super wealthy after college and, you know, got like a supermodel wife and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And it was like an unrelated thing, but like geek culture's kind of ascended, you know, separate from that. Mm. But then it got to a point where not only was like geek stuff everywhere, but you also did like that also ended up being true of a lot of the nerds getting bullied in high school, getting a lot of money, and then just becoming assholes.
Yeah, reactionary. Yeah. Like real reactionary tech. Like the tech industry is the worst thing that's ever happened, I think. Like the Silicon Valley, like those tech bros are historically, if we survive another couple hundred years, they'll look back at that and be like, boy, that's like the worst thing that happened to humanity was these guys.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and like you say, Eric, like no matter what, deep down they will always remember being the bullied, insecure kid,
right?
That was awkward and didn't know what to do. No matter how much media training they go through, no matter how many supermodels they manage to date because they're loaded and stuff like that, it's never going to be a natural fit for them. And then they just fall in. And also somehow they still feel that they connect with the worst part of the internet. Like, I'm still one of you guys. It's like, you're not. But somehow you've convinced like those types of people that you are. I was going to say
they have enough fans and people egging them on sometimes that kind of escalates from there, sadly. And it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
No. Well, you know what? This is as good a time as any. Let's turn it all around from all this stuff. And Eric Peacock, it is time for you to
tell us us how you do.
It's fun having buttons. I really like it. All right. This is the 5 questions for you, Mr.
Okay.
Eric Peacock.
Okay.
All right. This is everybody's got to go through this, and it's your turn now. All right. Number 1, I've reversed the order of my questions, so it's fine. Name. Okay, this is a pattern recognition exercise because I don't word this very good. So like, okay, like if I gave you a triangle and a square and you said circle, that's the pattern. Something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Name the third from these 2 names: Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, and then whatever.
Okay. Wait, it was Brittany, Christina, and
Yeah.
Mandy Moore?
Man, I say that too, but I think it's actually probably Jessica Simpson.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad I wasn't the only person that immediately thought Mandy Moore, though.
I always had a crush on
thought
Mandy Moore,
Pink.
so maybe that's why.
Pink was a little too late for that.
Yeah, but I just think of that gladiatorial Pepsi commercial that they did.
Oh yeah, no, I get it. I get where that's another name you could throw in there. Absolutely.
But you're right. Jessica Simpson is probably because like Jessica Simpson had a I would say a much larger one and had more, I think, big songs. Mandy Moore, I can't even actually at this point, I don't think I could name one of Mandy Moore's famous songs.
What was it? She had She Wanted to Be Bad. That was
that's right.
Yeah, that was the song.
But she never really was, right? So that's kind of how she's outside of that.
But she wanted to be, Julian.
She married Ryan Adams. I don't know.
Who knows? Who can say? You know, it's tough to say. All right, question number 2. What would your interest level be in a fish show? Like it's like a dog show, but for fish.
Okay, I didn't know if you were talking about the band Fish, because that would be whatever less than 0 would be. A show about fish. Okay.
Yeah, like it's like a dog show, but for fish.
Okay, we're talking like where a judge comes out and judges these fish.
Yeah.
Okay,
judges these fish.
You know what? I'm a big fan of fish, and I like aquariums. I would be very interested in that. Are we rating it from on a numerical level, or just
whatever you want to rate it on?
8 out of 10. 8 out of 10.
8
I
out
would
of 10.
watch a show about fish, a dog show.
Okay. All right. Okay. Question number 3. Maybe you can see my line of thinking when I was writing this. How long do you think it will be before society figures out that goldfish crackers are just cleverly shaped but worse quality Cheez-Its?
It's never going to happen. If it hasn't happened yet, I will say, right. Have you ever had the whale crackers? They're not goldfish. They're like a knockoff brand.
Okay.
And they're whales. I forget who makes them. They're really good. I think they're actually better than the goldfish. There's a lot more cheese on them. They're more Cheez-It than the goldfish crackers. The whales,
Bold statement.
They're good.
I need to make you guys aware of the cheese pizza flavored Cheetos Puffs, because they're really fucking good, and I've got a problem now.
What were the pizza chips that they used to have back in the day that were like the best things in the entire world?
Pizzerias.
That's it.
I miss them to this day. They're every few months. I will just wistfully start thinking about pizzerias from Keebler.
Good. They were so good.
Yeah, I think I've had those maybe once. I remember the pizza flavored Pringles, which they might still have.
They still make those. So that's usually what ends up happening is I think wistfully about pizzerias, and then I find myself at the convenience store buying pizza flavored Pringles to fill the void.
The thing is, Pringles chips mixed with that pizza flavor, not as good as whatever the pizzeria chips were. They were like,
they were baked.
Yeah.
They were like baked and airy. They were, the texture was so good.
Start a petition to bring those back. There's got to be a groundswelling of support for that.
Right?
I mean, it starts here.
They're 90s as fuck. So like there's a big nostalgia factor.
Yeah. What better place than here? What better time than now? All right, number 4. Do you see yourself visiting Milwaukee in the next 5 years?
No. Okay, honestly, I can't think of any reason I would go to Milwaukee. Nothing against Milwaukee. I just can't think of any reason that I would be going to Milwaukee. Well, you know what? 5 years? I won't say 100%
never
no.
Say never.
I would say it's right. I would say it's an outside possibility.
It's an outside possibility. That story of Milwaukee's life right there, really. I mean, nobody really sees themselves going to Milwaukee. So, thought I'd ask.
I mean, I'm not too far from it.
There you go. You could always go to Milwaukee. It's there waiting for you. You can go see a Brewers game.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something. All right. And finally, the grand finale of questions. One that I wrote this question months ago, and I've been waiting for you to come on the show to ask it.
All right.
So it's a lot of buildup. So if it sucks, my bad. But it's one I've thought about a lot. Okay. What percentage of music do you believe is just weird poetry about vaginas?
Are we going back, like, when we talk about music, are we talking like modern popular music? Or are we going all the way?
All of it.
Okay,
Just
if we're going all
rough
of
estimate.
it, if we're talking like modern, I would say 25%. If we're doing all music, 35.
Yeah. It's up there.
Slower than I would have thought, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's because, if you're incorporating all music, Julian, there's a lot of albums where it's just like, I don't know, I'm going to make a song about some clouds or some shit and then sprinkle in my weird vagina poetry into the album. Nobody will notice. It's fine. Now, it's the whole thing.
If you'd ask me what percentage of music was about detachable penises, then I would say there's only one song that I know of about that.
Right. Right. Yeah, all right. Good job, Eric. I'm going to hit a button over here. I don't know what it's going to sound like, but we're going to hit it anyway. Let's see which one we get.
I'm hot for teacher.
Perfect, actually perfect.
Yeah,
I didn't even mean to do that.
It's about vaginas. It's a song about vaginas.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also a song on the Varsity Blues soundtrack, which me and Eric talked about recently.
And also Eric's a teacher. So there you go. It works on all these levels.
Actually, yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Justin, because before we get into like deep into games, because Eric, I know you picked up a PS5 and I want to talk to you about that. As a teacher, are you like the cool teacher that kids come up and talk to about the video games?
We don't really talk about video games, but I am like, not the like the I'm well liked by the kids, and that's for better or worse, because they like want to know everything about me. I've talked video games with kids,
right?
But there's a couple kids in my fourth period that like have their Switches with them. They're seniors, they're band kids, great, nice, super nice kids in my environmental science class. And so, they pretty much every day sit and like play their Switch in class when there's like nothing going on. And so I've talked to them. I talked to them about Balatro so many times this year. Now they have it on Steam. I don't. I have that. They have the mods, and I'm so jealous because all I have right now is the standard Switch version that doesn't have like.
I got it on like everything. It's ridiculous. I keep buying it.
It's so good. It's just the best.
It's so good.
So yeah, I don't. We don't really talk about video games, but I do. Like I'm one who kids confide in me things, or and this is one thing that annoys me because I'm not into like touching hands anymore because people's hands are gross, and like COVID kind of awoke me to that. But like. They constantly want to like give me five or fist bumps or whatever when I walk by in the hallway. And it's like one of those deals where it's like, I just washed my fucking hands. I gotta go do it again.
If I was going to say, I usually implement the tipping of the cap strategy with people. And that works well for me.
No, I can't wear a cap.
Yeah, I know. I thought of that as soon as I thought of this. Yeah, I was like, oh, right. You can't do that because you can't wear a hat. Which is always a policy I never liked. But, what are you going to do?
I could pretend, though. I could just like doff my fedora without having one. And they'll start talking to Mr. Peacock because they'll think he's gone crazy.
Have an imaginary hat. It'll work. It'll get over.
But when you doff the imaginary hat, be sure to go.
That's good. That's good.
Call the girls Milady or whatever. Like there's all kinds of ways I could go with this.
Oh yes, it's a lot.
No, that I find that interesting because, like, again, Eric, we're the same age, and like I think you can probably agree that like. When I was in high school, or even just at school in general, right? Like the thought of any of my teachers being even remotely interested in video games was like slim to none.
Yeah,
right.
Like most of my teachers were like, like early 30s to like early 50s women. Not that women don't play video games, but especially in that time period, right? Like it was mostly like a young, like a little boy, teenage boy type of pastime. And then the male teachers that I had were significantly older than that. So it just wasn't like even in the realm of possibility of like getting into a possible conversation about like my favorite pastime. Where now it's like, it's a much more common thing, but I was curious if like, if they catch on, right? And like, how do they catch on that like you're down with what they they're into.
I will say with two things. It's funny you say this because I had a 6th grade teacher that used to get mad about people playing video games, and he would call it Nintendo without the N at the beginning. He would be like, you kids and your Nintendos.
Yeah.
But the kids still act surprised when video games do come up, and I'll be like, oh, that's a good one. They'll be like, you play video games? So there is still like an element of surprise when an older person plays video games.
I believe it.
Kids, I think we're not like where it's kind of expected now, but I guarantee you 2/3 of the teachers that I work with play video. Well, no, that's pushing it. But there's at least half, I would say, that probably play video games.
I believe that.
I mean, that's what I would expect. Like, I honestly would have believed you with like the 2/3. So like, yeah, like especially if we're talking about like mobile games, right? Like, damn near everybody plays at least a mobile game.
Right.
If we're talking that, then everyone in the school probably.
Everybody, yeah, pretty much.
I don't think about mobile games because I don't do mobile games. So that
it's hard to put that in your brain sometimes when it comes to that stuff. It's like it almost feels like its own separate thing. But
it is, but
technically it is a video game,
yeah, and far more people in this day and age understand like a lot of game lingo, even if they don't realize that they understand game lingo, right? Like
for sure,
they know what XP is, they know what like stamina is,
right?
Like stuff like that because it's just ever present in a lot of like mobile stuff. So leveling up, right? Like I always find it funny when I hear somebody use the term level up in a business or presentation setting.
Oh yeah,
because it's become so ubiquitous.
Right.
But like it's a fucking like that is like the nerdiest of nerdy shit right there. Like
I did have one of my students. I'm not going to say names. He can drive me fucking nuts sometimes. He's a nice kid, but like he's like I've never seen anything like it. Like there's no switch to turn off. Like he just goofs off all the time. Like he doesn't. I've never seen him take a thing seriously. And even when I put on like Mean Mr. Peacock voice, I've been like, hey, he's just like, what? He's like this big goofy smile. And the one day he fucking like the hardest I probably laughed all year. I tore my shoulder earlier this year. I tore the tendon between my bicep and my shoulder.
Hilarious.
And it was like my arm was like fucking dark purple. And so one day in class, it wasn't a full tear, thankfully. So it's all healed up now. I just had to take some time off. But I was in class one day, and I was like kind of wincing because I had to close a window, and he's like, Mr. Peacock. And he's just like a goof. He's like, I'm a doctor and I can tell you exactly what's going on. Your arm is injured and every time you move it, you're losing HP. And I just was like, I started cracking up like, get out of here. Get like, you weird kid, like get away from me. But I was like cracking up because he was like so serious when he said it. He's like, every time you move your arm, you're losing HP. And I was like, you weird kid, get away from me. But I was like cracking up when he walked away. I was like, God, it drives me nuts sometimes. But like, that was very funny. Like he was like so serious when he said, I'm a doctor. And then spouted that out. And I was like, God damn.
Yeah.
He also skipped my class to play Fortnite one time. And he had his mom call him in sick. But the kids were like, he's actually home playing Fortnite. And I jumped onto his stream and told him he sucked. And he was like, hey, Mr. Peacock.
That's great. I love it.
Kids got no fear. Like
no.
You would think that like if he got caught in the act by his teacher, like he'd freak out. But no, that the kid's just like, hey, what's up, man?
Yeah,
like, why are you watching my stream during work?
Yeah.
So, it's fun. It's fun. It is something that I've learned to like some kids I have bonded with over video. There are kids that I have bonded with over that. Like some of the quieter kids who like are sort of like maybe a little more shut in about things, talking about things like that. And books are like the couple of things that I've like bonded with like those kids over, you like video games. And then they'll talk to me like I'm their best friend, like,
Yep.
Well, yeah, Eric, I wanted to, because you had actually mentioned this when we were I think off mic on the Varsity Blues episode, but you would let slip that you picked up a PS5 not that long ago. So you've been like kind of catching up on some I mean, not that you were like behind, like you definitely like from our interactions, like you're pretty up on stuff, but you had not like jumped to current gen until relatively recently.
Yeah.
So How is that finding you?
I am loving it. I placed. I was for a minute there. I was like, I'm eating good right now because there were so many games in a row that I played that were just like top notch. Like the first thing I played when I got my PlayStation, and it's so funny because I just got this, PlayStation 5 top of the line graphics, and the first thing I played was Animal Well.
Like, that's a way to go. Yeah,
but I'll tell you what, that is it. I am not somebody who gives a shit about 100%ing platinum trophy games, and that is one that I was like, I'm 100%ing this thing. Like I was like obsessed with that. I am going to play it again at some point, probably this summer when I'm off school. I'm going to go back and replay it. But I went from that to Silent Hill 2 remake, maybe.
Okay.
I'm blanking out on things here. Silent Hill 2 remake. I'm going to pull up my PlayStation app and look at my recently
Might as well.
I played games. I will talk about, as I'm doing this, a few things on the Switch also that I've been playing that I've enjoyed. Homebody. Have you heard of Homebody?
I feel like
Game Grump made it. It's like a game that games help produce, and it's a time loop game. It's like Resident Evil style graphics, and there's a serial killer that comes into this house every night and kills you and your friends, and then you have to figure out like puzzles and like start figuring out the ways to get out of this place. And I will say right now that I'm struggling with some of the puzzles here because they're like the puzzles that I don't enjoy, but I really enjoy the game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah, this looks pretty neat.
Yeah,
I've never seen this.
I got it I got it pretty cheap when I found it. It was only like $2. Also, I'm having there we go. I was trying to find the games that I played recently. Jesus. Okay.
It's not always easy.
No, it was not. Let's see. So some of the things that I have done. So it's funny. I paid for RoboCop in the month before they put it out for free. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Here we go. Animal Well. Killer Frequency. Have you heard of Killer Frequency?
Yes. That's
great game.
That one's really cool. You run a radio station, and
there's a slasher
about it. It's there's a killer on the loose, and you're trying to guide people to not get killed from the radio. It's pretty cool.
I did not do very well the first time I played it. That's another one I want to go back and like try.
It seems tough. Yeah.
The Thing remake. I'll tell you one that surprised the shit out of me, but it was like on sale for $12, and I was like, well, pick this up. Still Wakes the Deep is so good.
Still Wakes the Deep is really good.
It seems divisive because some people call it like a walking simulator or what have you, but really enjoyed it. Space for the Unbound I liked quite a bit. That was a free one.
Hey.
I liked that one a lot too.
We are big supporters of Space for the Unbound.
I really liked that show. Yeah, or that game. Yeah,
really cool. Silent Hill 2 remake was just unbelievable. Like that's another one that I played back to back as soon as I was done with it.
They did a good job with it.
Yeah, unbelievable. And their new one looks awesome. It looks like Dead Space crossed with Silent Hill. Speaking of which, the Dead Space remake is one that I am like on my second run through, and I'm so bummed that it did not do well enough to warrant remakes of 2 and 3, because it is I think it belongs in the same breath as Resident Evil 4, Silent Hill 2, some of these great remakes, and I feel like it just kind of got lost in the shuffle a little bit. But it is this could be controversial. Here's one that I have not enjoyed.
Okay.
God of War Ragnarok. I cannot warm up to it. I loved God of War 2018. I am about halfway through Ragnarok, and I don't know what it is that is not hitting me the same, but I am not really liking it. I am like, it's almost like a chore at this point. I don't know what it is. Like, let me ask you this. Look, I'm a 44-year-old man. I don't have time to get mad at video games anymore. Like, I don't play the From Software stuff for that reason. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
It almost feels like this one they tried to like skew that way, because it feels like every single fight in this game is way more difficult than anything in the previous game. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I've lost my touch. But like, I played 2018 and was like, I've got to find every single thing in this game. I'm going to search every corner of this game down. And like, I am going to, that might be another one I platinumed. And I am like, I haven't played God of War Ragnarok in like a week. I just don't want to come back to it. I don't know. I don't know why.
Seems like you're bouncing. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. I don't recall feeling that the game was like way tougher than the 2018 one, but I ended up feeling about the same on both games, which is that I was largely meh on them. Mainly because I mean, this will probably be way different for you, Eric, because you're a school teacher, but I fucking hate kids and I fucking hate Atreus. Like, And I'm also kind of in the camp where I was like, there is a really good place at the end of God of War 3 for Kratos' story to be done.
Yeah.
And like, I the idea of him having like this like really like navel gazy like redemption arc is not. I don't need that. Like, not to take anything away from the performance or the writing, right? Like that's all great. It's more of just like I don't need that, especially for that character. I will say that I think for me personally, I ended up liking Ragnarok slightly more. I think because it had a little bit more of like the bigger set piece moments that I felt was missing in the 2018 one. And even though I hate Atreus as a character, I liked playing as Atreus.
He's very fun to play as. I like his parts a lot. I really do enjoy the Atreus parts where you're playing as him. Who knows? Maybe I'll pick it up and again here in a week and it'll warm. I don't know. I can't explain.
You never know.
I really can't because, like I said, I loved 2018. I loved this whole series up to this point. Right. And I was so excited for Ragnarok, and like I don't know. It feels like a chore coming back into it every time I boot it up now. But I love the story, so I do want to see how it goes. Like the performances, the story, the world is great. I just don't like the gameplay like I'd like some of the other ones. So
yeah.
Couple more here. I've enjoyed that Lost Records Bloom and Rage, the people that made Life is Strange. Awesome. I'm enjoying that so far. I'm not very far into it, but I have enjoyed it. It's nice. It's one to play when I'm trying to chill out. You know what I mean? I played so many fucking games in a row, like Silent Hill 2, Dead Space remake.
Yeah, I'm like very intense things, right?
Yeah. The Alone in the Dark remake, Julian, we talked about, like, I know you were a sort of an advocate for that game. I think it deserved way better than it definitely, look, it's not without its problems, but it's not a game that should have been, that was bad enough to shut down an entire studio. You know what I mean?
That, and like I was really surprised to see like so many, and it was part of the reason why I didn't play it like immediately when it came out, even though I had really enjoyed the demo and I should have stuck with my gut on that. But like there were so many like bad reviews about it, and just like a lot of like people be like, oh, this is like the worst horror game of the year, blah blah blah, or like one of the worst games of the year, and I'm like, what video games are you playing? Because this is like really great.
Yeah.
The worst part of it is the combat, but the combat is still perfectly fine. Right. It gets the job done.
The melee is the worst part. Like shooting's fine. The melee's not good.
Yeah. But it's still, it's like kind of whatever, right? Like it's not a deal breaker by any stretch, but to me, it was like just it's dripping with so much atmosphere, and like the transitions where it's like everything's fine and then everything's fucked up in in such a rapid succession, which that's like one of those next gen or things, right, where it's like you couldn't have done this before, like on a PS4 or anything, and it's really cool, and I really got it. Like it was one of those games where I was like fiending for more lore. I was like, every time that I could pick something up and read it, that's what I was looking for.
I really enjoyed the part. There was that one section too where you're talking about the change where like you're in the house, you're not in like the dark world or whatever you call it, and you open that door and down the hallway you see the dark man come walking out of one of the rooms, and then like I ran out of the room. I'm like, fuck this, and then I came back in and he was gone, and I was like, oh, good touch, game. Like you made me panic and run out of the room for a minute. So I liked it. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then just a couple more. Hitman, as always, it's embarrassing how many hours I have into that.
Oh, right? It's a great game. I played through it, I think 3 or 4 times now. It's great.
I'm a big fan anymore. I'm a fan of, I'll tell you something that I love about Hitman, and it may make this, hopefully this doesn't make me sound like a psychopath, but Hitman is like, I think one of the funniest games ever made as well. Like the shit that people say in the background.
100%.
Dude, I hear things all the time. I killed a guard the other day, and another guard came in and saw his body on the floor and said, "You're supposed to be guarding someone, you lazy prick." Like that shit is, it's so funny.
That's great.
So if I anymore, sometimes I'll just like see how many people I can kill with a fire axe without getting caught in the level. And the people say like the funniest shit in the entire world when you're about to hit them. Like the funniest reaction that you get is a British guy who yells, "Mister!" Like he yells "Mister" at you as you're swinging your axe to his face. It's the funniest fucking game in the entire world. So sometimes I just jump on when I'm like, I got like 20 minutes to kill, and I'm like, I'm going to go on an axe murder run and just cause some chaos.
Why not?
And like, I love when you like hear like the game tries to make you feel bad in the background, and like you'll hear guards being like, "Someone killed a whole lot of people, some maniac," and it's like they're trying to make you feel bad about not playing the game proper. Like it is just, It is the best.
It's great.
And then the final two, Phasmophobia, I put a ton of hours into, although I have not played that recently, but I really enjoyed Phasmophobia.
Yeah.
It gave me the creeps. It gave me the creeps playing it. Like the first couple, like till I got good at it and I understood it. Like every time like a door would close, I'd be like, oh, like it was a very. And then the final one, and this is what I'm currently playing a ton, is Blue Prince. Blue Prince is fantastic.
Okay.
It was free this month on PlayStation Plus, so I was like, I'll try this out. Yep,
yeah.
It was a day one freebie, and
nice.
And you know what? They've done a good job with those. Like the day one freebies that we've gotten thus far have been there's some that I probably haven't played, but Stray, Sea of Stars, and Dave the Diver are all three games that I played to completion as a free day one game on PlayStation that I will also at some point pick up on sale because I like them enough that I'll play them again.
Right.
So it's not a bad sales technique.
Yeah, for sure.
Those are three games that I will revisit.
And Lost Records, wasn't that on that tier of PS Plus also?
Oh, yes. That is another one. Yes, I forgot about that. Yep. And the second one comes out in like a week.
Oh, it's out. It came out this week.
Out? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, I got wrapped up in Blue Prince and haven't seen what's new.
There.
Yeah,
that happens.
I'm very early in tape 2 on Lost Records because for me it's like, well, I mean, the game is already like as I mentioned on the show, like it's what you put into it, right? So like I like to really slow burn it, and like any moment that I can take in the game to like sit down and just like let my character think. Like I always take those moments, and I'm picking up all of the things that you can inspect and looking at them, and like really like taking my time with it. So I play them in like kind of small chunks. So I haven't done much on the second tape yet.
Yeah, I'm excited to get to it. Like I said, I still got part. I don't think it's not very long, right? Tape one's they're not very long games. Did you like Life is Strange? I like those games a lot.
I love
too.
Life is Strange.
Yeah, Julian's a big Life is Strange guy.
Yeah, that's another one. I would have never picked up Life is Strange. I just nothing against it.
Right.
There's a couple games. Spiritfarer, I think I talked about maybe in the last time I was on here. Spiritfarer is like one of my favorite games of all time. Like one of my
it's great.
Top, like it's so good. And that's another one that like one night on PlayStation Plus, I was like, cozy game. Like, okay, we'll see how this is, and like I just was like immediately drawn. In fact, that's another one I'm going to replay this summer at some point is go back and do Spiritfarer one more time. But yeah, I know a lot of people, you were talking about, Justin, you were talking about how a lot of video game people are people who like to just get mad at video games. Have you ever looked at like the responses to like PlayStation Plus's like monthly lineup that they put out? People are fucking mad every time.
Look, my favorite thing is to go on this okay, if I like a game, every now and then I will have because I play a lot of stuff on PC. Every now and then I'll get some weird problem or something like that, and I will go on the Steam discussions page. And every single time it is a cesspool of just the wildest opinions. And you're just like, I'm just trying to find why the game keeps crashing and if there's some setting that I need to put it on. Cause usually there's some weird graphics card setting I got to do or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Glad I learned this. But 9 times out of 10, you have to go through this game will never sell, and I'm glad it's not selling anything, and I hate it. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm just here because the game's crashing. That's all. I'm just trying to see if anybody knows anything. It's wild.
It's got to be a miserable way to get through life.
Yeah,
like, absolutely miserable.
It's
to have
so
like
bad.
the one thing you love, you actually hate.
You just. It feels like you're just alive to be mad. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Real quick, have either of you played Blue Prince yet, by the way?
I have not.
Eric, I got to level with you.
Yeah.
Blue Prince is probably like the antithetical stage select game.
It might be. It's I think I'll put it like this. I think it's a really cool game, and I think it's very well done I've watched a good amount of it. It is super not my thing because I am awful at puzzles.
See, I like puzzles.
Yeah, I'm terrible at them. Like I get up to a puzzle in a game. I'm like, just tell me how to do it. Just please. I just want to hit things, please.
Certain ones I am like that with. Like I said, some of the homebody stuff where it's like, I don't like puzzles where like Resident Evil 4, the original Resident Evil 4.
Sure.
The part where you go down to the basement with Ashley and you've got to do like those old sliding tile puzzles. Like I fucking hate that type of shit. I always have to look that up every time. I've played Resident Evil 4. That's my favorite game of all time, the original. Right. And I've played it, I mean, more times than I can count. Like genuinely, I've played it multiple times a year since it's come out, or at least once a year. And I still have to look that up every time. No idea how to do it. It's like, whatever.
I believe it. Yeah.
So Blue Prince is kind of cool puzzle wise because a lot of it is like paying attention to things.
Yes,
and like
it is really neat. It's like rewards you for taking notes and kind of keeping track of stuff that's going on. It's very well put together.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about it in like, big time game of the year contendership. Like especially people who have like gotten all the way through it. I'm like, I know that like even if I got into it, like it's not going to like make it onto like a stage select list for game of the year. So I'm like, I'm pretty okay like letting that one.
Who knows? I might. I don't know. I might have to try it now. If we're talking big game of the year stuff now, I might have to at least touch the damn thing.
The guy that made Balatro said it's his game of the year.
I know.
It seems like the stage select's suffering game of the year, just from like what I've heard
put
about
it. Put it on a suffer select poll. It'll be great.
The thing is, though, I am not like I will tell you right now. Like I have a notebook. I actually bought a notebook for it. Guess how many things I've written down in it? Absolutely zero, because I'm lazy. I need to start doing that. But like I just enjoy like going on a run and seeing, because like even if you don't know what you're doing, like you occasionally unlock new rooms or find things that you're like, oh, okay, that's going to help later on. Like things that like permanently change. Like I got a foundation in my house now, and I don't know if I put it in the best spot because I didn't know that wasn't reset every day. But like, I don't think it's in the worst spot, So like, there's like things that I've like new rooms that I developed that I'm like, oh, that's cool. Like I didn't know you could. And then like I start thinking of ways that ties into other rooms that I've had, and then you got to have a run where you get both of them. And like, so I enjoy it.
I might have to try it out just to see.
And I'll be honest with you, at some point it's going to reach a point where I have to start looking up how to do some things. I know it. I just know it. And I'm okay with that. I don't mind that. I have no issue with reaching a point in a game that I enjoy and being like, okay, I'm either going to have to look something up or I'm going to stop enjoying
or
this.
Stop playing. Right. Yeah. I've been there plenty of times. And, and most of the older I get, the quicker I'm on my phone looking it up, because I'm just like, I'm never going to figure this out. Just tell me what it is.
I did figure out the dartboard puzzle completely on my own in that game because it's math, it's numbers. And I kind of like hit a few numbers and realized, okay, wait, this is adding, and then I just played around. And, but I will say that game also fucks you for doing good at their puzzles, because the more times you play it, the more you solve it, the more difficult they get. So like now the fucking, the dartboard puzzles, I dread when I come to them because I'm like, fuck, like this is going to be, this is too much math
go
for
through
me.
The billiards room. You got to do it.
It's too much math, man.
Yeah, that is a lot of math. And now I'm slowly going, oh, maybe I won't actually try that. That's a lot of math.
It is saddest. Look, I don't like math when you throw numbers and shapes. Like if you that loses me. But when it comes down to like figuring out, and again, it is puzzle-ish, because there are sometimes you find ones where there's more than one answer. Right. Like the number could be more than one. And so like figuring out, okay, well, what if I divide this number and this number instead of multiplying this number and this number and then divide that, so like coming to like your final answers is satisfying and rewarding for me who likes that kind of shit.
Makes sense. Yeah, for sure. I could see it. All right. I might have to try it again. I'm back on the fence. We're right on the fence. We're right straddling it. It's a whole thing.
Here. Okay. Wait, one last thing and I'll stop talking about it.
Oh, you're good. No, go ahead. You're fine.
Here's my suggestion, because it took me, I played it probably 5 or 6 times and was like, I don't think I like this.
Okay.
And then one day I just was like, I'm going to stop worrying about puzzles and just start putting rooms together and fuck around and see what happens.
Okay.
And then it became satisfying. I wasn't like thinking about like, what's my next move going to be? It was like, you know what? Here's 2 entrances or 2 exits in this room, and it makes sense going next to this room. And I don't care if it's not the best way I should do this. It's going to move me further, and then I can unlock more rooms or more abilities or more things. I can build things. I can find things that might, later in the game, I'll know, okay, I need this car key to open this car in the garage to get this, stuff like that. Right. And so I just quit stressing over like the puzzles and just kind of ran through the game, put the house together a bunch of times. And that's when it started to click with me. Then it was like, okay, wait, I figured out the fucking dartboard puzzle. And I was like, hell yeah, Eric, you did that without even knowing, like you did that on your own. And, and then it just sort of started then I started figuring out other things. And I mean, I'm on like day 35 and I've gotten to the antechamber once. I have no idea how to open it. You know what I mean? So like,
okay. Yeah.
but it's fun. I enjoy like
Right.
seeing what happens each run, and a game's only like 20 minutes, so you can get through it pretty quick if you're not. I mean, if you fuck up, it's only 20 minutes.
Right.
It is kind of one of those things too, where sometimes I'll have a good run going, and then all of a sudden I realize that like I've boxed myself completely in, and I'm like, fuck, I've got like 8 jewels, I've got like 5 keys, and then like a left turn fucks me over into a wall, and I'm like, I am stuck now. I have nowhere I can go. God damn it. So it's not without its aggravation, but like it's a chill. That is another one, like a cozy, like if I don't want to stress, I put that on and put some rooms together, and I have fun with it.
All right. You've sort of convinced me to at least try it. I'm down.
I can't wait to hear you talk about how bad it is on like another couple of episodes.
No, it would just me being like, no, I was right. This wasn't for me, but it's very neat. That would be my exact thing. Prepare for that.
That's fine.
Speaking of convincing people to try things, Eric, you mentioned that you really enjoyed A Space for the Unbound.
Yeah.
Have you checked out Until Then?
No, I knew they made another game, but I've not played it yet.
Oh, it's a
different people.
Different people.
Oh wait, no. Okay, wait. The people who made Space for the Unbound have another game too, though, that I've never played. Like,
do they really?
I thought so, because I remember looking up the studio to see what they did, and I thought they had something else they made. Maybe I'm wrong. No, Until Then, I'm going to look that up right now. No, I don't think I have.
Until Then is very similar thematically, and also like aesthetically, but it's something.
Oh no, I've never played this, and it's on PS5. I'm going to add this to my PS5 wish list right now.
Oh
yeah, I think if you enjoyed Space for the Unbound, I think that you will be very pleased with Until Then. We were.
Oh, you can get it under a free game trial with my PlayStation Plus. I can play a game trial for it.
Nice.
Oh, it's on sale for $10 right now. You know what? You might have just convinced me to just pick it up. Like, I like Space for the Unbound a whole bunch.
Yeah, I think you'll really enjoy it. That's one, like, there's always one or two indie games that come out of nowhere that Justin plays that he'll bring to the show, and I'll check them out. It's like, man, I'm really glad that you told me about that, because like there'll be games that don't really make it out of like our little bubble. Like Until Then is a game that like the people who love it, but it was definitely not on like your average like video game podcast like list or anything like that. Like it was super under the radar. I think I only heard like one big podcast talk about it once very briefly, and that's only because the main character or the guy talking about it is also Filipino, and the game takes place in the Philippines. And that was like basically all of his conversations. Like, yeah, they really nailed the feeling of like being Filipino, and then like they just moved on to something else. But that's also kind of how he hosts his show. But
what are you gonna do? You know, what's to be done?
Yeah, I'm very interested. I'm just looking. I was actually, as we're talking about it here, looking up a little more about it. I am gonna have to jump into this because I really enjoyed Space for the Unbound, and it's a cool game. So I thank you for that recommendation, because I'm going to check that out.
All right.
Just fair warning, because I don't know how you were with Spiritfarer, but Until Then is the first game to make me ugly cry at like actively weep since Spiritfarer.
Spiritfarer. I've talked about that game. I talked about Spiritfarer on another video game podcast. Kiefer that's been on my show a couple times. And we talked about that too. Like, hell yes, that game got me. Every time that music would play when she'd hug someone, shit.
Yeah.
And the old hedgehog, that one really got, like, she's like forgetting things and like,
right.
That's the one that I don't think I can ever go back to that game, because she reminds me so much of my mom.
Yeah.
I just don't think that I can do it. Like, I'm glad that I did it, but it wrecked me so hard.
That
it felt like
Mushroom Boy. Those two were the ones that like.
Yeah.
Also, good recommendation. Closer the Distance. That's a good one.
Okay, hold on. Cry. I'm gonna Closer the Distance. Hold on a second.
Closer the Distance. Yep. It's kind of Spiritfarer-ish. So it's a good
by
one.
way of The Sims, which is a pretty interesting.
It's a Sims clone. Actually, they tell the story using Sims mechanics. It's very interesting.
Oh, this is already on my wish list.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
Yeah, it's real good.
I must have heard about this somewhere else.
Hell yeah. That is a good one.
Looks like, oh, now it kind of looks like Oxenfree.
Yeah, a little bit in the style wise. Well, speaking of indie game suggestions, I'm just gonna go free ball here. Because the one thing I did this week that wasn't streamed was I played a demo for a video game called Unbeatable.
Okay.
Oh, yes. Okay. I saw the demo came out and I was going to remind you because I remembered when the trailer came out. I was like, dude, you need to check out this trailer.
Yeah.
And you were like, you were like, okay. Because
I knew I'd seen it somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. To be fully clear, there's a lot of times where I'll be very enthusiastic and telling Justin to check something out. And like I can see it on his face where he's like, all right, let me look at this.
Yeah.
See. And and that was this, but like as he was watching the trailer, like on the call, he was like, oh shit.
Yeah, no, it's and that vibe is still there. Like playing the game, it's real cool. That is a cool fucking game. It's a rhythm game for the most part. They do like kind of reminds me of the rhythm combat game with the cool animation that was Microsoft. The studio got shut down. What's the name of that fucking game already? Oh, I'm so bad.
Hi-Fi Rush?
Hi-Fi Rush, that's the one.
Oh yeah.
It's not completely like that. It's like a 2D kind of, but like they're doing the combat like when you're in the rhythm game part, you're fighting shit. That's basically it. But it's almost like a random encounter type feel. Like the game cuts to a different thing and you're just doing a rhythm game. It's pretty simple, the rhythm game, thank God. You can make it pretty complicated by turning the difficulty up. It has a couple things that I think they need to work on. One, the tutorial for it is kind of weird, and I actually broke it, which was kind of funny. The tutorial is like, so whenever I would mess up an input, it'll stop everything to tell you how to do the thing that you just messed up. It's like, no, you got to press A. And it's like, okay, all right, I got it. But then it'll just keep doing that. Like it'll stop everything. And I was like, this is kind of weird. And also it gives you kind of the wrong controls too. Cause I immediately after I was like, this feels weird. It's telling me to press the left bumper to do low attacks and A to jump. And I was like, why would that, those should be the other way around, right? And then I look on like the actual controls, it's like, no, the D-pad is for the low attacks and A is for jump. I'm like, okay, that actually kind of makes more sense now because you're just, hitting one or the other. That's fine. I don't know why they didn't tell me that. And also it got to a point where it was like, okay, press this button to block. And I was like, okay. And then I pressed the button and it didn't do anything. It just got stuck. And I was like, uh-oh. But it was fine. All I had to do was hold in start and then it skipped the rest of the tutorial. But other than that,
demo, right? Like it's not full game yet. So
yeah, I just downloaded the demo to my PlayStation as we're sitting here talking.
It's real
from
cool.
My phone.
It's real cool. The entire concept is what is it? Music. A game where music is illegal and you do crimes. Which is pretty fun.
I like that. That sounds good to me.
It's a lot more than I expected, because I expected when I picked it up, I was like, okay, it's going to be like a rhythm game. There's going to be story beats in between it. No, you're like walking around and talking to people and doing stuff. And there's like the music for the baseball mini game was fucking, man, I was bopping to that shit. Nice. It was great. I was just like, it was really good. The music's really good. Like, and it has to be because it's the rhythm game.
Yeah, if you have a rhythm game, you got to have the good music. Like,
it's real good. It's from what I played anyway. I was really digging it. Definitely going to keep an eye out for that. I immediately wish listed it. I was like, yeah, it's definitely gotten not without its share of problems. I also there's a character that follows you around, and like I kept getting her stuck in shit, which was more funny than anything. But there was that, and one interesting thing I found about the game, and I'm not sure if this was intended or what, but like whenever I was, so normal rhythm game stuff, you get to an encounter, you lose the encounter, you do it right over again, right? This one did not do that. I would lose the encounter and it moved on. It was just like, no, you lost. And this is what happened. And these are the consequences. And I was like, would things have changed had I actually beaten that encounter? That's really interesting. Cause like one, like I was like, did the bad guys just win? Like I was like, it was kind of wild. So I'm really, really curious on how all that stuff works. There's definitely some weird stuff that, like, again, I think they need a better tutorial and they need to kind of explain what I'm looking at sometimes. Like there's two different kinds of like encounters, right? There's one where it's almost like, it kind of feels like Guitar Man, where it's scrolling at you, right? And you gotta hit the things as they're coming, no problem. But then it'll switch to like you're fighting cops, and then the bar changes to be vertical, and the stuff is coming from up and down. And I didn't figure that out for a while. I was like, what does it want from me to do here? Because I have no idea. And then I eventually figured out, oh, it's this bar. Okay, now I get it. But I had to figure that out. I had to lose a couple encounters to figure that out.
That also said, because the more you talk about it, the more I'm getting Guitar Man vibes, which is an excellent vibe to get.
It's very cool. It's a lot simpler than, like, you remember that I played a game on stream. It was the Crypt of the Necromancer rhythm game that they put out, and I was like, this is a lot. Like, as I was playing it, I was like, I'm not this good at video games. I'm just not. It's really cool. I'm not that good at this. This one feels a lot more simple. Like I immediately was like, I'm just going to turn the difficulty down a little bit. And I was like, okay, this seems perfect. And this seems like I can build upon this, right? Like this, as I get more used to doing this, then we can up the ante a little bit. And it felt good. It felt fun. It was simple. Like that game has a lot of potential, and like cool. the story they're telling and the vibe it has, I'm way into it. So well, yeah,
I like the hand drawn thing too. What's that other game that's coming out, By Sweet Carol or whatever? That's like hand drawn. That looks really cool. It's like announced on PlayStation.
Ooh, I don't know.
Where it's like hand animated. It's like looks like you're playing a Disney cartoon kind of.
Ooh,
I haven't heard of that.
Yeah, it looks cool. I've had it on my wish list, but I don't know when it comes out. It's like an announced game currently. By Sweet Carol. I had to look. That's what it's called.
By
BYE, like bye, goodbye, By Sweet Carol.
Okay, got it.
Looks pretty neat.
I gotta see this now. Oh yeah, immediately it very much looks like a Disney movie, but kind of dark and creepy at the same time. This is cool. Yeah.
It's one that I'm pretty excited. I don't even know the release date. I don't know if it has it.
It just says it's the same as Unbeatable, where there's no actual release date. It just says 2025, so sometime this year.
Okay, I was gonna ask because I think that I saw that trailer for Unbeatable last year, and it said 2025. So I was like, oh, it's gonna be like a long time. But so no, I'm excited.
It has not moved. Yeah, it's still 20. And there was an old demo actually of Unbeatable apparently in 2021. It was it was like a different. It seemed like a much different thing that they were working, but it seems like they've been working on this for a while, and it looks cool. There was like a drink mixing mini game, and there was a lot of different stuff, and all of it was really fun to do. Like every time I got into this, I was like, okay, this is going to be the one that I hate, right? And then I just start playing. I'm like, no, that was actually pretty fun. I'd do that again. That was really cool. So yeah, mad props to that game. I can't wait for the full release.
I can't wait to play the demo tonight. I'm gonna play it after I get that.
It's pretty rad. It's like I said, it's a little buggy in spots, but like it's a demo, so you know.
Check it out before I go to bed.
I think tonight. they even say it at the beginning, like, hey, we know it's a little buggy, but it's a demo. We're working on it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Excellent.
The State Select is made possible through the support and funding of viewers like you. Here are our wonderful patrons.
Well, Justin, before we move on to my stuff, I think it's a good time to thank our lovely patrons.
All right, let's do it.
We appreciate all of our lovely patrons, but every week we like to thank the executive producer tier. And this week we have Xrium.
We have Game Johnson of Retrofits.
We have Eric Peacock of the Soundtracker podcast. He's a pretty cool dude.
He's right here. Yeah, he's right there. He's a good guy. We have Matt Jorgensen.
We have Dennis Robertson.
We have Philip P.K. Becker.
We have David Portnov.
We have Raymond Crumb.
We have Casey Curran.
We have 60 should finally play Undertale ?
We have Bookie.
We have Stephen Lobo.
We have Bill Tucker of A Gamer Looks at 40.
We have Xavier Krager.
We have Big Baker.
And we have Addy XD, which is really just a smiley face, but it's XD because we read it as written.
Yes. I mean, that's how they called it the channel Disney XD, right? I don't know if that station is still around.
Yeah, that's probably I didn't even put that together, but
I
here we
either.
are. Yeah.
For a while there, that was where you went to go watch the Transformers.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. 60, by all means, go play Undertale. Just don't become one of those Undertale fans, please.
No, do it, 60. It'll be great. It'll be your ultimate heel turn.
Please,
you can do it.
So I've got some gaming related stuff, but I wanted to start with some non-gaming related stuff. Which quick personal thing. This week, 2 days out of the week, had to drive downtown to take one of two major classes for certification at my new role. So it was in-person class and everything like that. I still have to take the exam. I have to study for the exam and take that probably in a couple of weeks. But that was interesting for a few reasons. One, once I finish that exam, I'm gonna have letters by my name. That's I'm gonna be Julian Titus and then letters. All highfalutin and shit.
Oh boy.
So that's interesting. But I'm still kind of coming to grips with how big where I work is now. But, because my first job was at Albertsons, which obviously was a nationwide supermarket chain.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel big when you're
because you're just dealing with your store, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Same thing when I worked with friend of the show John Gholson at Cinemark, right? Cinemark is a nationwide theater chain, but yes. There were 30 employees at that theater, maybe. Right. But here it's my department, my agency is I forget how many people it is. It's a lot of people, but then the state of Texas government employees is well over 200,000 people, right? And so I roll up on this class, and I'm coming from the outskirts of town, so I barely got to class on time. I was super it was so anime cliche. I practically I may as well have had a piece of toast stuck between my teeth as I was running to get into the classroom, and then knock into somebody and land on them in a really awkward way.
Next time you'll take toast.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I ended up having to sit in the back at first because I didn't see an open seat, and that was actually I was actually sitting next to one of the people that was teaching the class, and she suggested that I find a group, and I was okay, sure. But when I introduced myself, she's like, oh, well, what do you do? And I was like, oh, well, I do this and this, and she kind of looked at me kind of funny. I was like, oh, and then I was like, this is my agency. It's oh, okay, gotcha. Because I'm thinking that all the people in this room are from my agency. And it's oh, no. There's people here from local government. There's people here from college campuses and just all sorts of people that are state employees, but it runs the gamut of stuff. And it's just the more I am working at this job, the more aware I'm becoming of just how massive it is. And it's a really weird feeling. There was a EMS guy in full
you'll have
uniform, and I'm I don't know why you need to be here for this type of class, but that's interesting. It was also on the UT campus. And I have a semester of community college under my belt. So it was kind of cool to get just a little snippet of that, an actual college feel, the place where we were taking the class, it was a normal style classroom you would see in a high school. That wasn't super different, but there was on the first floor a actual auditorium where there was some sort of seminar going on for medical professional people, and then they had this really nice cafe where you kind of go down some steps, and it's called Under the Oaks. and
Okay,
there's all these trees and a park around. And,
yeah, that sounds like a college campus for sure.
Yeah. The food was really good.
You'll have that.
But it was just kind of like a nice experience that I don't have that experience.
Cool.
And it's not a true college experience until you get a bill for $60,000 in the mail.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Thankfully, this class is being paid for by my agency. So
yeah, you get the good stuff without the bad stuff. That's lucky.
That's right. Obviously, in the thick of downtown, which means a lot of traveling, a lot of traffic, and whatnot. So at the end of the second day of the class, or the final day of the class, I was like, you know what? I deserve a little treat for going through that class, and I'm gonna head on over to my favorite Chinese buffet place, Buffet Palace, and
there you go
do that. But as I was driving there, I was like, I'm not actually all that hungry right now, because we got out a little bit early, and I was like, it's not really dinner time stomach rumblies, and especially I don't eat as much as I used to, but I still like to try to get a semblance of my money's worth at a buffet. Sure. It's still rush hour traffic, so as I was waiting at a stoplight, I was like, let me see what movies are playing at my favorite movie theater across the street from the restaurant, and maybe I'll go see a movie first. And I was kind of looking at what was available, and there wasn't much. Like, I really wanted to see Sinners, but that didn't open until the night that we're recording this.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, there's Death of a Unicorn, which is like the new Paul Rudd horror comedy movie that looked so, and it was starting in like an hour, and I was like, okay, like I'm about to pass Half Price Books. I can stop in there, do some browsing, and then go see the movie, and then go eat. But then I saw that another movie was starting at 4:45, which was like very soon to where I was, and I was like, I have no interest in this movie whatsoever.
Okay.
But sometimes you do things for the podcast.
Okay.
I think Eric knows where I'm going with this.
Uh-oh.
Saw the Minecraft movie, gentlemen.
Oh yeah.
Christ.
Did anybody overreact to lines in the movie while you were there? Did that happen?
Thankfully, no.
Okay.
Because of the time that I went, school, it was like,
right.
Wednesday at 4:45.
Oh, thank God, yeah.
Yeah, there were people there. There were some kids there, but they were relatively well behaved until the very end of the movie. It was not the chaos that I have seen online with Chicken Jockey and shit.
Yeah.
That movie is weird.
I believe it.
I do too. I I've got a bunch of freshmen in class, and they have been doing the Chicken Jockey and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty fucking. It's a lot. It's a lot. The kids love writing on my board, and so I didn't know that. I'm really out of the loop on this shit. So
me too.
They kept writing Chicken Jockey, and I was like, "What is this? What is this all about?" They're like, "Minecraft," and I was like, "Oh, okay." I have also heard people say it's not as bad as you might think.
No, and so that's kind of the problem. Is I was kind of hoping to come into this podcast recording and be like, this movie was so fucking trash.
Yeah,
and it's astounding how bad it is. And no, it's just it's boring. It is just and it's funny. So there's only 2 movies that I have ever considered walking out of.
Yeah.
This one and Nacho Libre, which is from the same director, which is Jared Hess, the director of Napoleon Dynamite.
I like Nacho Libre, actually.
Yeah, a lot of people do. There was something about that movie where I was just like, oh, I don't think this is for me. I should go. And I stuck it out, and I was like, I mean, I still have a flawless record. I haven't walked out of a movie yet, but that was a really close call. And I feel that, so I loved Napoleon Dynamite, and that was one of those movies where I bought it on DVD and I watched it over and over and over. I was a huge fan, but I remembered thinking I wonder if this is if it's like a lightning in a bottle thing, and like they'll like this, the people who made this movie just can't. Because I watched it with like the commentary on one day, and like all the commentary was like, oh yeah, this is like a reference to this thing that we did growing up, or this is a thing that happened in high school, or blah blah blah. I was like, okay, so you were just telling like a bunch of like funny stories from your youth. So I wonder if you have anything else.
Right.
And then I saw Nacho Libre and I was like, oh no, you don't. And then I watched Minecraft. I was like, oh, you super don't. Like,
Yeah.
you're the a one hit wonder of like film directors.
Kind of, yeah. It does kind of seem like that a little bit. Well, then again, I mean, you say that, but I'm sure the Minecraft movie is doing fine.
It's made.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
It's insane how much money it's
ridiculously
making.
well.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like, we say that, but at the same time, I'm sure they're doing fine,
Yeah, no, he'll definitely get to make lots more movies after this.
For sure.
So it's a weird movie because I don't know who it's supposed to be for. Because obviously your knee-jerk reaction is it's a kids movie. It's for the kids.
Yeah.
And it's like, yes, but like the kid in the movie is not the main character.
Mhm.
The main character of the movie is Jason Momoa's character,
Okay.
who is a very obvious spoof of Billy Mitchell of Donkey Kong fame.
Okay.
Oh,
It's a really weird choice, and ultimately what the movie is about is middle-aged failure.
Okay.
Because basically it's like Jason Momoa's character peaked in 1989 when he won this arcade competition.
Sure. Okay.
And,
Yeah.
he rode his 15 minutes of fame into the ground, and then he opened like a used video game store. But he still thinks he's the shit, and he has like this really like flamboyant way
Yeah.
of dressing. And
Okay. So Billy Mitchell. Yeah. Very
Yeah,
obvious.
yeah.
it is
Yeah.
100% Billy Mitchell.
Yeah.
with the exception that Jason Momoa is doing like a 100% impersonation of White Goodman from the Dodgeball movie, Ben Stiller's character.
Mhm.
Like the voice is identical. And a lot of the way the character is written is very much like White Goodman.
Okay.
And so a lot of weird like 80s nostalgia that feels more at home in like the Ready Player One movie than a movie about Minecraft, which, Minecraft is like a very much a late 2000s video game that persists to this day. And like I don't understand.
It seems weird. Yeah, that seems like a weird choice because most of the Minecraft audience in my mind is a lot younger than me.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that seems aimed at, our age group kind of. And that's a strange choice, but
Very. And it's funny listening to like people on other podcasts talk about this movie because like there was one podcast where someone was saying like, well, the Minecraft kids have grown up, and it's like, my dude,
I mean,
there are always new kids playing Minecraft.
Yeah, I mean, some of them have. Don't get me wrong, but like, they're still like younger than me. like they're.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't consider them like middle aged or whatever. Like
no, yeah, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Like, so that's a weird choice for like the premise of the movie. I will say that like the people that I have seen freaking out the most over the chicken jockey shit is people that are in their like 20s, right?
Yeah.
Like mid 20s and stuff like that. It's not the little kids.
No.
The little kids get more excited about Flint and Steel, and like lava chicken and stuff like that.
Right.
Lava chicken. Steve's lava chicken, yeah, it's tasty as hell. Ooh, mama, sit tonight, you're ringing the bell. Crispy and juicy, now you're having a stack. Ooh, super spicy, it's a lava attack.
But the actual chicken jockey scene, for whatever reason, that's when like the college kids are just losing their goddamn minds.
Yeah, that's I don't understand why, but maybe some things in this world I'm not meant to understand.
My only, because I've never played Minecraft. I know a lot about it through like video gamer osmosis, and I've watched a lot of HoloLive girls play Minecraft.
Sure.
But they're focusing more on the building stuff and not the actual like core mechanic stuff. So I don't know. Jack Black is at an 11 with every single line.
That sounds right.
And I like Jack Black. This was too much Jack Black.
Too much, yeah.
Like everything is over the top in a way that starts to really grate after a while.
Mm.
And then you have the woman, like I meant to look up the actress's name, but she played Tasty in Orange is the New Black. I love her. I loved her in Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
And like the movie routinely forgets that she's in the movie.
As you would, yeah.
In a really like kind of off-putting way where it's like, this is the one black person in the movie, and like she disappeared for like the last 20 minutes. And like literally at the climax of the movie, she just kind of shows up out of nowhere. It's like, oh, right. Yeah, you're here too. Cool. I'm glad you got to do something, because I damn near forgot that you were in here at all. Jason Momoa is all right. Like his character, like,
oh, sorry, I had to look up the actress you're talking about. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah. Danielle Brooks, is that the actress? I believe so. Okay.
Yeah.
I remember that from like an article or something like that.
Right.
And I would honestly say that like the look of the Minecraft world and characters is a little weird, like because everything looks like too nice and too rounded. Like I kind of wish that they had stuck a little closer to the source material and make it look super blocky and very angular. It's this weird like kind of. It's like if you put like a hyper realistic mod on Minecraft, but you still are beholden to like the base character meshes. So like they're still vaguely square and cube shaped, but like hyper detailed in a way that just like makes it worse in a strange way. Like you could see where someone would want to mod the game and make it look like hyper realistic, but
I'm sure it exists.
It ends up making it look worse than the base game does in a strange way. The funniest part, and it's not much of a movie, Jennifer Coolidge plays the like vice principal of the kids' school.
Yes.
And one of the villagers ends up coming into the real world from the Minecraft world, and she hits him with her car and starts like this weird like romance with him, and she like takes him out to dinner, but he doesn't talk. And so she's just kind of like putting like what she dreams of in a partner like onto this NPC.
Yeah.
But like the only time that I laughed in the whole movie is when the waitress comes up and she says, "Are you finished?" And Jennifer Coolidge says, "No, I think he's Danish."
That's good.
That's good. That's not bad.
That was the one titter that I had in the whole thing. Yeah, it's a really weird movie because it really does end up being like, again, it's about middle-aged failure and kind of getting to grips with that, and set to the background of like this very like one of the most popular games of all time, where the environment is really just there for them to throw out like jargon every once in a while.
Yeah, pretty much. Sounds about right.
I don't recommend.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like it.
See, when I found out Jared Hess, that's the director's name. When I found out that he was the director, it actually made me slightly more interested because I have enjoyed his movies and like knowing that his maybe weird sensibilities might be in there. But like at the same time, if I watch it, I'm not going to a theater to see it. I'm not going to be involved.
Yeah, that seems like a renter or something.
Yeah.
Not that you can rent movies anymore, but like, you know.
I'm not getting popcorn thrown on me and shit while fucking a bunch of college kids are trying to make fucking
TikToks. It sounds like a huge risk to go see this movie. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, if it had been later in the evening, I absolutely would not have done this because I didn't want to take a chance. Yeah, it sure is something there. And so Eric, there is a little bit of that Jared Hess weirdness in there. Like when the kid gets to school, like, you know, he's like a very creative kid, right? That's his thing. So like obviously like he fits in really well when they get to the Minecraft world, but he does some stuff where it's like there's no way this would ever happen in a high school, but this sure does feel like something that would have happened in Napoleon Dynamite's high school.
Yeah.
So there is that. But yeah, it's something. I'm sure there's going to be like multiple sequels now. But,
I'm sure.
Yeah,
it's made so much money that like we're never going to get interesting movies like mid budget movies ever again. It's all going to be like Minecraft sequels.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'll just say that the Hololive girls did a much better like bit of storytelling within the Minecraft universe with a much lower budget with their Enigmatic Recollection event that they did last year that I talked about,
right? Yeah.
Which was like some peak cinema, and it's all improvised. So
yeah,
you know, maybe go check that out. if you want to see some storytelling within the Minecraft world.
They did it. See, have you watched Grand Theft Hamlet? I want to watch that. I'm curious about that.
No, I haven't heard of that.
That's guys made these guys did Hamlet on Grand Theft Auto Online.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
And it's supposed to be great.
Yeah. Okay, why not? That sounds pretty good.
There's a whole like little cottage industry of people putting on like full on plays in Final Fantasy 14, and I've always been curious, but I never know like where they're happening or when they're happening. But I am very curious.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, sure. It's a creative way to like. I dig that. I like that people are putting that stuff to use to like put together. It's cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll go through some of my stuff from the week real quick because it's not a lot, because it's one of those things where obviously because like I was like, heading into town a couple days this week, that really cut into game time, and then also had to make time for ukulele for the Suffer Select.
Yeah.
I finished Suikoden 1 with all 108 stars.
Good job. Congrats.
I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about it because we spent a lot of time going deep on it last week.
We did, yes.
That's my first time ever finishing the game with all 108 stars.
Nice.
It is kind of funny how little
fanfare. Yeah, it's the one guy comes back and you're like, okay, great. And then does it really matter if he comes back? No, not really.
Yeah. It's also funny because so I beat the game in a little over 25 hours, and that's mainly because the guide that I was using said, hey, if you level up these characters' weapons to level 16, they'll get a boost in the next game. And so I was like, oh, I haven't used most of these characters, so let me go grind out some money and go get all these weapons leveled up. And the funny thing is that character isn't even on that list. So it's like, it's extra weird that's like the big reward for getting all 108 stars. It's also really weird that like there is resolution to the conflict, but not by any action of yours. No. Like you fight the Emperor, who turns into a 3-headed dragon, RPG. But he's not he is the leader of like the Imperial army that you've been fighting this whole time. But he's not actually the main antagonist that you've been dealing with the whole game. And then she gets taken out not off screen, but it's like it's done in a cutscene, like after you
pretty
beat
much
the last boss.
Yeah.
So it's a really like kind of anticlimactic way of finishing that game out.
It's a prequel to Suikoden II. Just think of it like that, pretty much. Because some of those characters show back up, and it's kind of what it feels like a lot of the time.
Definitely. And so I will say that like once I rolled credits, I immediately rolled into Suikoden 2 because I couldn't wait.
Yeah.
And like Justin, I know that like your whole thing is that you've played through the first game a bunch of times, and then you intend to play the second one and you don't.
Yeah. I played the opening bits of Suikoden 2, but not the entire game. Yeah.
So you've probably played what I'm at right now because I haven't gotten that far.
Yeah.
The leap in quality.
Oh, it's
from 1
massive.
to 2.
Yeah.
Is so huge. It's incredible. Like, just as we talked about last week, right? The first game, it was kind of like what you would expect an RPG to be in the PlayStation generation. It was like, okay, we've still got these hand-drawn sprites, but it's got 3D backgrounds. Like, that was probably the easiest way of realizing what had been done up to that point, that early in the cycle. But by the time that Suikoden 2 comes out, Sony was very much, in the States, was very much like against 2D sprites. So it's kind of amazing that not only did they make this game, but it got brought over to the States. And it's like a night, like the jump in quality of animation and sprite detail.
It's wild.
It is something else, man. And that's really all I have to say about it so far, other than, my reminder, because, this is my big thing back in my retail days, is that I would put Suikoden 2 on the PlayStation just because of the attract mode.
It's
because
a good song,
that intro song is fucking fire.
It's good.
So I made sure to let that run before I actually hit start. But
there you go.
I'm going to be running through that. I want to get all 108 stars on that one too. I'm working with a guy. Oh, one thing that I will say that's really cool, Justin, and I think this might this might be a really cool way to like get you more interested in like going through both of them back to
After
back.
we talked about it so long last week, I was very tempted to fire it up. I'm not going to lie. So
yeah. Apparently there is a character that that is very difficult to recruit in Suikoden 2 because it's a timer. Like you have a certain amount of time to get to them to recruit them.
Okay, yeah, I think I've heard of that. You
can turn that clock off in the options.
That's nice.
Which is like a really nice feature.
Yeah.
Because I'm playing this one on hard as well, and I was like, well, I know I'm going to be like doing some extra grinding just to make sure that like my characters are equipped and you know, like being able to handle stuff. So it was like, I don't want to take chances on that. So
yeah, no,
I just turned it off.
Yeah,
you know, no worries. So I thought that was like a very nice quality of life.
That is pretty
feature.
Nice.
Yeah. See, Justin, I would be like you. Like, my favorite RPGs ever are the 2D sprite, like the 16-bit Super Nintendo JRPGs, or you know, I love Final Fantasy VII. For the PlayStation, not the. I need to play the remake because I do like I like the original one so much, and I like, what was it, 9 that kind of had a return to that. Like, it wasn't 2D sprites, but had that look. But I have no interest in like the modern Final Fantasy games. Like the 3D doesn't do anything for me. Like running around an open world. Like I love like the old like top down. What was it? What was the one that came out? Dragon Quest like 12 or something had an option to play the old 16-bit mode, and that's what I went with.
Was it 11
or 11?
11.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, that's what I played when I played it. I went right to that. I didn't even fuck with the 3D mode. I was like, I got it because of that. I was like, oh man, like it's the old school like 2D pixels, top down, like exploring towns, big map.
Right.
And that's like my shit. So like, I think I would be like you, I'd get to part 2 and be like, you know, maybe you're not doing it for the same reason.
Part 2 is pretty much the same as part 1, like with the same thing.
Oh,
but
okay.
It's usually what it is I just finished that one and now I want to play something else.
Yeah.
That's it. It's usually just hard for me to marathon through things like that. I don't know what it is. Because usually it's with the best of intentions, right? It's always like, okay, I played through the first one, that's great. I'm set up for when I want to play Suikoden 2, and I will play Suikoden 2, and then I just kind of don't. Like that's usually what happens. Like, but yeah.
And the way that I'm looking at it with this collection is I'm looking at it as one game, and I will say that the PlayStation 5 looks at it that way too, because it says that I've played it 50% completion.
That sounds right. Yeah, that's good. I like it.
So I'm looking forward to that. And yeah, because like, you know, your average RPG these days is like well over 60 hours, right? So it was 25 hours for the first game. I know the second one's slightly longer, so I'm saying probably like another 40 hours for that. That's about your, you know, that puts you at like your standard RPG length between the two of them. So that's kind of how I'm looking at it, because I don't want to lose steam on, you know, going through it.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, like I said, I started tape 2 of Lost Records Bloom and Rage, but I'm really early on that. I'm a little over the halfway mark on South of Midnight and really continuing to enjoy that.
Cool.
It's another one like Alone in the Dark where I really enjoy the bits of lore that I'm picking up, and I hate it when I miss one because it'll tell you that it's like, oh, this is like 2 of 11 for this level. And it's like, where was 1? Because I like the first few levels, like I was getting everything like no problem, and then all of a sudden it was like I missed 3 things. How did I miss 3 things? Like I've been pretty darn thorough in this game. And one thing that I forgot to mention last week when talking about it is that this is another one of those games, and we've talked this with a few games since the show started, where, and I guess like people are, you know, game designers are just kind of getting to this point of nostalgia, and I appreciate it. Where it's like, this feels like a PlayStation 2 / early 360 era game.
Sure. Where,
you know, it's like a certain, you know, type of game, certain type of combat, certain type of traversal. You know, it's level based. It's not like this huge open world that you're going through, right? Like every chapter is a level with like, you know, a beginning, middle, and end. There's collectibles within the chapter, right? There's and once you're done, and then you move on. And I miss that type of game design.
For sure.
It's something that's very satisfying. Because like last night, you know, I was like, because you and I recorded the Suffer Select.
Yes.
And then I was like, well, I want to do something before I go to bed. And so I fired up South of Midnight, and I got through like a chapter and a half.
There you go.
And it felt like, you know, nicely manageable, and the story is starting to pick up.
There you go.
Like I said, it's a very cool, like, Buffy the Vampire Slayer by way of Southern Gothic type of theme that I'm really digging. And again, the music just continues to impress.
I wish it weren't an Xbox exclusive because I've never owned an Xbox in my life, and I probably never will at this point.
Don't worry, it'll be on PlayStation.
I was going to say, hang in there.
It
probably will come to PlayStation. Don't worry. Yeah.
They're practically a third party developer or publisher in all but name.
Yeah, they're really getting there.
Yeah, like Indiana Jones just came out this week for PS5.
Yeah.
Which I highly recommend, Eric.
Yeah. It's on my wish list.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was my number 2 game of the year on my list last year. Fucking loved it.
Julian loved it.
Drops a little bit. Like I almost I keep wanting to pull the trigger on Alan Wake 2 because they keep finding that for like $39.
Yeah.
For the deluxe edition, and then I forget about it, and then I'm like, shit, the sale's over. But like it keeps popping up, and at some point here, although I will say. I love the first Alan Wake, but I never finished it. I got to a part in the last chapter that I couldn't get past, and I was just like, fuck it. I'll look up how the rest of it goes.
Sure.
Yeah.
As long as you know how it ended. That's the
important part. Yeah.
It's funny because thanks to Warrior 64, I saw that the physical copy of Alan Wake 2 is on sale for a deep discount this week, and then also the physical versions of the PS5 versions of Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake. So I picked those up just for, the shelf.
Why not?
I love the 3 remake. I
do too.
I wish they hadn't cut stuff, but at the same time, what I like about the 3 remake is if I'm in the mood for a Resident Evil game and I don't want to be playing it for a week, put that in. I could beat it in a fucking night or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like quality. Yeah. It's not quantity, but it's quality when you're playing it. Like it's short, and I wish they hadn't cut the clock tower. And yes, there's all that, but it's a fucking fun game for the time you're in it.
Right.
I find it funny how a lot of people really gave the Resident Evil 3 remake a lot of shit for missing some things, but gave the Resident Evil 2 remake a complete pass, where I think it's much more egregious that they got rid of the Claire A, Leon B, Leon A, Claire B routes, because that's that was like the feature of Resident Evil 2 was the zapping system. Yep. And like I was really bummed. Like even if they would have added it like after the fact, like as like a
that would have been a cool
either
thing,
DLC or just an
actually,
update.
Yeah, like they kept it, but like in name only. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's you could play an A scenario and B scenario with each character, but like there's not the same changes that you get in the original game.
Yeah. You're not having to decide like, do I want to take this ammo now or leave it for the other person? Which is like a big part of like the survival horror aspect of the original 2 was like, you could kind of screw yourself over on the second playthrough.
Yeah.
And I thought for a second that the Alone in the Dark reboot thing was gonna do that, but it doesn't. It's I was like, I started a second playthrough, with the other characters. Like, oh, it's kind of the same story. I'm a little bummed about that.
Apparently, chapter 4 is where you get your differences.
I see. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of hoping it would be like the. I mean, that's kind of a lot to ask, but still, it felt like you were going to go like a totally different route, like through the levels and the environments with the other character.
I see.
But yeah, that's it for me
all right.
This week. Before we get out of here, and we won't spend a ton of time on this, but we do have some comments, questions, and concerns for CQC. As always, there's a lot of ways that you can get at us. You can email us. The email address is thestateselectpod@gmail.com. You can what was the other thing? Oh yeah, you can throw a comment on the Patreon or the YouTube versions of the show.
Yep.
Again, on Patreon, you don't have to be a paid patron. Like if you have a Patreon account, you can sort of get on there and comment on the episodes. But you can also join our Discord, and there's a thread in there for comments, questions, and concerns, which is where we have these. First up, we have AddieXD asking, when is Justin's birthday?
That's a hell of a question. I don't know if she's trying to fill out start a bank account in my name or something. I don't tell people my birthday. I do not celebrate it, and I apologize if that seems like a dick answer. I'll put it like this. At some point, I will be one age, and if you listen close, that age will change, and you'll have to triangulate it from there. Okay? Because I will state my age sometimes, but I won't tell you when the change happens. And that's pretty much it.
Fair enough. She was wanting to send you like a really sultry "Happy Birthday, Mr. President" type message.
I'm good, but yeah, no,
I don't know. That's what it was. That's just my thought.
I don't really celebrate it. I'm one of those weirdos that just treats it like a fucking day,
I do too.
and like
I
do too.
really enjoys when I really enjoy when nobody even knows. When I'm just like, oh, this is great. No, I don't have to deal with anything, but people always know. There's like, like I can't trick my mom into not knowing. That's impossible, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, obviously mine is like pretty easy to remember because it's leap year.
Right.
But I also don't make a big deal of it except on leap year because
that makes sense.
It's an excuse for me to be a kid again, which who doesn't love that. 60x Self asks, what's y'all's favorite dirtbag foods?
What do you consider dirtbag food? I guess
I eat a lot of beans.
I eat a lot of beans. Is that dirtbag food? I love beans. It's always associated with like hobos, but I love beans.
I think of it more as like the type of stuff where it's like you're doing damage and you know that like this is like a bad choice, but fuck it because like you can't resist.
Easy. I'm a fucking sucker for McDonald's double cheeseburgers. Like they are
okay. I was gonna go McDonald's myself, but I'm going McDonald's breakfast.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for the McGriddles. I know they are terrible for you. Like they are one of the worst things you can possibly eat, and I'm just like, I don't care. It's delicious. I want it. Oh man, that's probably my favorite.
My like pre-diabetic, like my go-to McDonald's order was 2 double cheeseburgers and a large Coke,
which is like $12 now.
Yeah.
Right. Like that used to be like a $5 order.
If that even, yeah.
I used to do 2 double cheeseburgers, a McChicken, and a small Coke, and it was $5. That would set you back like $13 now.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's fucking crazy.
It happens every time that I go to Taco Bell, but I still have sticker shock every time because like for the longest time, like Taco Bell was the place where you got a shit ton of food for like $5-6.
Yeah.
And, it hasn't been that for a very long time. Don't get me wrong. This is not a recent thing, but it doesn't matter. Like, I still remember 90s Taco Bell prices where it was just like, I am having like 5,000 calories worth of Taco Bell right now. And like, it was under a tenner.
Do you guys have, does either of your states have Del Taco?
No, we don't.
Yes, in some places.
Okay, I was gonna say Ohio doesn't either. It's more like it seems like Southern and like the Southwest has them. They used to have like 50-cent tacos and shit, and I really want to know if that's how much those are now.
Right.
Like I'm dying to know because they can't. There's no way they're 50 cents anymore. That was like 2012.
I do want to change my answer because I can't even believe I didn't think of this right away. Tomorrow, when I go down to my family stuff, I'm going to my girlfriend's first. And near where she lives is a White Castle that I hit every fucking time. I love White Castle.
Fucking jealous.
I love White Castle so much. So White Castle actually is probably because a lot of people say that's only good when you're drunk. Not me. I like it all the time. I'm getting me some. It's either White Castle or Banh Mi. It's like the two most opposite choices you could possibly have. But I'm probably going to do the White Castle because it's simple.
Hell yeah.
Oh man. Every time I think about those little burgers.
They're so good.
Little onions that explode in your mouth like flavor crystals.
They're the best. They're so good.
Burn this motherfucker down. You hear that, Pookie? We're going to burn this motherfucker down.
You really know that bit well. That's good.
I know that movie extremely well.
Apparently so. And you didn't even get stoned. That's the crazy part to me. Like that was...
I have a weird affinity for stoner comedies.
Apparently so. You really like some stoner comedy. That's great.
It's a funny movie. It's a funny movie.
It is a funny. Oh, it's great. Yeah.
And the thing is that I have never had legit White Castle. I have had frozen White Castle, which I know is not the same.
It's not. Bad, If you can find a White Castle that has, isn't there one in Texas? I thought Texas.
I don't think so. I think the closest one to me is actually in Vegas.
Okay.
Oof. Yeah.
But I take that back. But they have like another. It's like I think it's under the White Castle umbrella, but it's a different name.
You're talking about like
it's
Crystal.
Like Crystal Palace.
Yeah. No, they're not.
Yeah.
I don't believe they're the same company, but Crystal kind of took White Castle's whole thing and then.
See.
Okay.
I
could be wrong. That could be the Carl's Jr. Hardee's thing. I don't. Or Carl's Jr. Yeah, Carl's Jr. Hardee's or rallies.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I want the real shit, and I want one of these days. I want to walk into a White Castle, and I want to do the order. I want to do the Harold and Kumar order. There's a handful of things where I'm like, I wish that I had gotten around to that before I got too old for it. Have you all heard of the Heart Attack grill?
No.
Yes, I think I have. That's
so.
Yeah, go ahead and explain. Maybe I haven't.
I didn't realize it, but I guess it's technically classified as a restaurant because they've got like, you know, the waitresses dressed up as like sexy nurses.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a place where it's like the burgers are like, it's just meat stacked on meat on meat, and it's like an unlimited fry like bar where you just get as many fries as you want.
Right.
And so I think it's like the main burger is like the Heart Attack, and then it's like the double bypass and the triple bypass, and like when you're done, they wheel you out in a wheelchair, like out the front door.
Right.
I heard about that in my early 20s, and I always wanted it. I never got around to it. There's no way that I could fucking touch that now.
Yeah.
The other thing is I've always wanted to try the Fool's Gold loaf.
I don't know what that is either.
Yeah.
That's the thing that killed Elvis.
What? Wait, okay. Is that the peanut butter banana?
So yeah, it's like they take a loaf of bread, like a full-on fucking loaf of bread.
Okay.
And they hollow it out, and like on one side they cram it full of peanut butter and like a couple other things.
Okay.
The other side is like crammed with bacon.
Okay.
And it's called a Fool's Gold loaf. It's supposed to be like shared among the table, but the legend is that Elvis used to just like down one of those, like, you know, every other week or something like that by himself.
See it. Yeah.
Yeah. So always wanted to try
the
that.
Luther Vandross burger too, which is like a famous burger now, but Luther's was the one where you put a burger on like a Krispy Kreme donut bun. Luther Vandross also died of a heart attack very young.
Yeah.
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 I need my cyber organs.
If only.
Let's see, and then we'll take this last one from Casey. We've got some others, but we'll save those for next week.
Sounds good.
What is a game or franchise that never got a portable version or spin-off that you wish did? Game Boy through Nintendo DS power, where they would have where they would have needed to rethink the mechanics, right? So not like a Switch game or like a you know thing where there's like parity between the big boy version.
Mm-hmm. I don't even
That's
know.
a tough one because I'm not much of a handheld gamer. Like I've had it. I mean, I like my DS. I have a 3DS, but like most of the games I had for the DS were like Mario 64 for the DS or Mario versus Sonic Olympics or what. I'm trying to think if there's. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm like jumping ahead of all of you here.
Go ahead. You're fine.
Grand Theft Auto Chinatown Wars was excellent game for the DS that had the mechanics of the touchscreen and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. I was thinking about that game a lot lately, actually. I think because that game, what was it? Schedule 1, like the drug dealing game has been like real popular lately.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was thinking about the Chinatown Wars game.
Right.
Although apparently the people who made that game were like terrible.
Right.
So
Chinatown
maybe
Wars?
not. No. The people who made Schedule 1. Yeah.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
For me, this is actually a pretty easy answer. It's the Legacy of Kain / Soul Reaver.
Okay.
Games. Like I think you could have done like a really awesome like either 2D action game or like a search action type game like on a Game Boy Advance or a DS.
I have one, but this is kind of a pie in the sky thing, right? It can never happen. It can never happen because they don't exist in the same timeline. Well, they do, but time frame. But it would have been cool if Hitman got like a weird 2D version of it like that, like top down, like almost isometric kind of thing. That would be really interesting if you could pull it off, you know?
Yeah. I think you could too.
I think you could.
Oh, wait a minute.
The more I think about it, the more I'm like, that would be kind of neat.
Did I get this backwards? Was it games you wanted ported to mobile or games that you wanted mobile games ported to like a console? Did I misunderstand that?
So a game that was like mainly like a big ass like console game
I got it
that never got like a scaled down port. Yeah.
Oh shit. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Hitman then.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm thinking like, I mean, you know, this is outside of like the Game Boy Advance or DS, but you could do this on the Vita because like, you know, Hotline Miami is sort of like a really arcadey over the top version of a Hitman game.
Yeah. If you slowed it down and, you know, added some different mechanics, you know, put the disguise thing in there, it could work. It'd be really neat.
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I'd play that.
Yeah, I would too. Be fun.
For sure. All right. Well, I think that's all we've got for this episode.
I think that's all. Yep.
Eric Peacock, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Eric. It's always a pleasure.
I'm glad to come back, and I we'll have to do this again when I don't have to get up early and drive to my Easter the following morning, where I'm like, gotta watch the time. Yeah, I had a good time, and I do want to get both of you back on at some or back. No, I guess. Well, I'm sorry, Justin, you've not been on yet. Julian, I got to get you back on. No. Justin, got to get you on the show at some point here. But always have fun coming on here and talking. And I don't get to talk about video games much on my show, which is like one of my other things that I love talking about. So it's always fun to come on here and talk about that, and then just various other things. I like the just it takes you where it goes, So I always have fun doing this because I'm ADD, and this is like an ADD podcast almost, where it's like
pretty much, yeah, pretty much, absolutely,
definitely. No, yeah, and always down to be on your show. It would be cool to do one with both of us too. I think that'd be a lot of fun sometime.
100% down with
and
that.
Then also, we do have our new movie or movie and TV watching Patreon show, Cinemorons, and I'd love to get you on there sometime because you're so knowledgeable about film, and because I don't get to talk about movies all that much on this show.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the place to that I get to do that, because it's like, I'm like, no, Justin, you're going to sit down and watch this fucking movie, and then we're going to talk about it.
Now I have to watch a movie, which is fine.
Yeah.
I'm down.
It's just Justin is like video games is life type of gamer.
You know what? I'm just thinking here, spitballing. It would be kind of fun. We don't have to do this, but it'd be kind of fun because I wanted to tackle this to get you both on and talk about the 1990s Super Mario Brothers movie, which I know, Julian, you hate. I've
never seen it.
Oh wait, I thought is it Justin that you is it you that hates it?
I haven't watched it in many, many years. I went to the theater and watched it as a kid. I kind of barely remember it, but I mean, open the door, get on the floor, everybody walk the dinosaur. I'm here for it.
It is a super weird movie that I can't call it good, but I kind of respect what a weird swing they took with it. It's the people that made Max Headroom. So like you see that weirdness in there. Like it's the people that created Max Headroom. So like, and it like ended their career. Like that was pretty much it for them. Like that was the end, like beginning and end for them was the Mario Brothers movie. But that might be a fun one because it's got a weird soundtrack. The movie's goofy as shit. And I think that could be kind of fun if we did decide to do like both of you on to talk about something, and it would tie in well.
Oh, I'm down.
Yeah, absolutely. No, my thing is that like even back when it was new, like I just rejected it like just on merit of like, this isn't what Mario Brothers looks or feels like. Like, why did they make it all dark and weird like Batman? So I've never actually watched it. So that would actually be a fun one to do.
Yeah. Keep that one in mind then.
We'll keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah. Well, you can find us all on the internet. Eric, where do you want people? I mean, obviously we're going to have the links in the show description and stuff like that. But where would you like people to kind of find you to let you know like what they thought of this show or
yell
whatnot?
At me? If you can find me, it's Uwe Bollocks, UweBollocks, and at Twitter it's just at Uwe Bollocks, and at Blue Sky it is UweBollocks.bluesky. Shit, I always forget the Blue Sky handle. It's like Uwe Blue Sky dot social. Yeah, whatever,
like
whatever Blue Sky is. Uwe Bollocks, UweBollocks at Blue Sky is where I'm at there too. I don't really use either of them as much as I use. Well, Blue Sky I've never really used a ton. I'm using it a little more.
There you go.
And Twitter I use about once a day, maybe once every other day. So, but that's the place you can find me if you want to tell me that I'm a fucking asshole for not liking Ragnarok or something.
There you go.
Direct it. You should direct it at Julian Titus at Blue Sky. So Blue Sky, where you can yell at me if you want to tell me I'm an idiot.
There you go.
I'll pass it along. That's not our listenership most of the time, but I'll definitely let you know of any like hot takes in our Discord that were aimed your way.
Yeah, please.
Justin, what about you?
You can find me on twitch.tv/Tyrone Swift to find streams of me playing, I don't know, weird 90s beat 'em ups and other stuff. I have something planned for tomorrow when I stream as of this recording, but maybe it'll fall through because I might not want to do it. Who knows? Also, on YouTube at Tyrone Swift TV to find all of the weird WWE shit that I keep doing, like making George Thorogood. Because why wouldn't I do that? He's bad to the bone. Here's
see that George Thorogood made the cut before I did. That's
I'm
cool.
sorry.
It's fine.
Here's the thing, Julian. I had a face scan of George Thorogood, so that's the thing. Also, I had the idea of I need to give him the Three Amigos, which I'm pretty sure you both can figure out the name of that move at that point.
Oh, I love the Three Amigos.
I know. No. The move, the Three Amigos that Eddie Guerrero used to do. It was the three suplexes. Yeah. Yes. Okay.
Oh yeah. Great.
One bourbon, one scotch, one beer. Come on, guys. Let's keep up here.
I'm sorry. I was thinking about the movie.
You mean that's what the name you
that's what he names. That's George Thorogood's name for the move. All right, try to keep up.
I get it. No, that's a really cool finisher move name.
It's great. It's so dumb. I love that stupid game.
I could see Mauro Ranallo like doing that like in the commentary. Oh, there's one bourbon. Oh, there's the scotch. Mamma mia, there's the beer.
See? It writes itself. I just love imagining the Bad to the Bone comes on and it's like, what's that music? My God, it's George Thorogood. Oh man, it's great. Anyway.
It's very much Justin playing with his digital action figures.
I gotta do it. It's fun.
Yeah. You can find me on Blue Sky. Just search for Julian Titus. The show is still on Twitter at Stage Select Pod. Thanks as always to the wonderful Mega McDuffie for our theme song and interstitial tracks. Thanks to friend of the show, John Gholson, for being our announcer and providing us with our logo and artwork. But that's going to do it for this episode of the Stage Select. I've been Julian Titus. He's been Justin Ham. Special thanks to Eric Peacock. We've been the we haven't been the sound. We have been the Stage Select podcast. Signing off.
Uh-huh.
The Stage Select is copyrighted and owned by Space Monkey Mafia Productions, specializing in independent podcasting. Please consider sharing the show with your friends and support us by joining our Patreon or donating to our coffee. Thank you, and good night.